Chapter 128. In the first round between PGs and Ain released her Heart of Ice. When it was Jing Yu's turn to pick, he chose Heart of Ice without hesitation. Their lineups were the same as before. The only thing that surprised PG, the commentator, and the audience was that Ane's support picked Maha. When they entered the battlefield, their lineups were as follows: PG, Satan, Scarlet Fury, Dark Cupid, Sarier, Heart of Ice Ine, Quangu, Peacock Plume, Kamal, Maha, Sword Burial. Yi Hong saw through the truth. They knew that we would be weakened in the later stages, so they wanted to fight us until the later stages. Jing Yu understood. We will watch their videos. They must have studied our videos as well. Kit defeated us with a 3-shooter lineups, and SKR1 followed suit. As expected, we lost. Han Ling added, if it weren't for the fact that Ane's top laner isn't good at marksmanship, they would have used a 3-shooter lineups to fight us. But there's a problem, Qin Fei said as he looked up lazily. Can they last until the later stages? As he spoke, all the devils entered the battlefield. Of course, they started with red and blue damage. However, when PG was halfway through killing the red devils in the jungle, a group of people with red health bars above their heads charged at them. Jing Yu. System, Maha, 1 kill. System, our Sarier has died. System, Kamal, 1 kill. System, our Dark Cupid has died. What's going on? Yo, the commentator, was stunned. Ane's 5 players all charged at PG's jungle and caught him off guard. PG's Sarier and Dark Cupid died on the spot, but Dark Cupid reacted quickly and knocked Ane's Kamal down to critical health. When Jing Yu saw Kamal's critical health, he hesitated between running away and killing him. In the end, he sighed, rushed over with a flash, and killed him with a skill. Then, he lay down on the ground. System, Heart of Ice, 1 kill. System, enemy Kamal has died. System, Maha, 1 kill. System, Heart of Ice has died. When Jing Yu died in the beginning of the game, Luo Yiming and Han Lang had already revived. It took them some time to recover, and they hurried to the bottom lane while complaining. Luo Yiming, is Ane poisonous? Han Lang, what's this strategy? It's not good for their economy at all. Jing Yu really wanted to say, with our crazy strategy, we don't have the right to complain about them. Ane played PG at the beginning of the game, trading 1 for 3. Fong Luofan was also surprised, but he quickly calmed down. But this isn't a loss to PG. On the contrary, Ane's top and mid laners' economy will fall behind. Kamal, the only one who could gain an advantage, died. Ane is really harming others without benefiting herself this time. Yo commented bluntly. It seems like she has a lead, but it doesn't help her at all in the end. But from this, it can be seen that Ane is planning to target either Jing Yu or Won this round. Fong Luofan said. Ane has been very focused this season. Almost every game is targeted at a certain player. If they break their opponent's mentality, they will win. However, Jing Yu and Luo Yiming's mentality wasn't that easily broken. Jing Yu was someone who wouldn't give up until the last second. Luo Yiming didn't look at his own record at all. He only thought about how to kill the enemy in front of him. If Fong Luofan was Ane's coach, he would probably ask Ane to target Yi Hong. In PG's team, Yi Hong's mentality was the easiest to break. However, this season, perhaps because of Jing Yu's addition, Yi Hong's play became more and more stable. He made fewer mistakes than before. Actually, it was because the pressure on Yi Hong had decreased. In the past, when PG's jungler was Qin Fei, Yi Hong had to think about how to kill the enemy's mid laner. Now, he only had to think about how to slow down the enemy's mid laner and exhaust him as much as possible. As for things like killing, Jingyu would do it, and he would almost never fail. However, in this round, Jingyu didn't coordinate with Yi Hong's mid laner. He ganked the bottom lane the entire time. 6 minutes later, frowny face system, Heart of Ice, 1 kill. System, the enemy's sword burial has died. System, Heart of Ice, double kill. System, the enemy's Kamal has died. System, Heart of Ice, triple kill. System, the enemy's Maha has died. This series of system notifications stunned Yo-Yo. Fong Luofan was the first to react. Ane's sword burial wanted to catch Dark Cupid, but Jingyu's Heart of Ice connected with him and killed him together with one's Dark Cupid. Then, Jingyu's Heart of Ice rushed into the enemy's turret and froze Kamal and Maha, completing the triple kill in one go. After hearing this, Yo-Yo found his voice. Jingyu played too fiercely in this round. He was probably angered by Ane's play in the opening. The image on the big screen jumped to PG's arena and gave a close-up of Jingyu's face. He didn't look angry. In fact, he didn't have any expression at all. However, everyone could see the focus and seriousness in his eyes. There was a commotion in the arena. So handsome, I love him. As expected, a person is the most handsome when he's focused on one thing. Jingyu is playing so high, but he's not saying anything. That doesn't make sense. Not long after this sentence was said, the image on the big screen changed back to the battlefield. Hence, no one in the audience knew that Jingyu immediately moved his mouth. Kill your father. You have to pay the price, you know. Pft, Yi Hong burst out laughing. He almost missed a soldier. In short, in this round, Jingyu had been attacking Ain's bottom lane the entire time. He had completely shut down Ain's bottom lane. PG's economy was ahead of Ane's, and they won the first round in less than 20 minutes. This was exactly what Qin Fei had said. If they played against us, would they last until the late game? They could have a double archer lineup, but it was meaningless if they couldn't last until the late game. Especially when Ane's 2 archers had both left. They were fighting for the economy, and their early game development was so slow that it was despairing. This was a failed strategy. However, Ane's players were very optimistic about this outcome. Jungler Fly, Jingyu's Heart of Ice is really good, top laner PL, what about the next round? Support High was silent for a while and shrugged. I don't think we can win. As a commander, he actually said something so negative. Even he was surprised. However, his teammates didn't think much of it. Mid laner Wing, PG has really become stronger. Archer GY, yeah, he's getting stronger. How about this? Fly suddenly said. Since we think we're going to lose, why don't we treat it as a training match and experience Jingyu's Glimpse of Shadows? Letting Jingyu use Glimpse of Shadows was no different from admitting defeat for the current ANE. Fly had just casually mentioned it, thinking that it would be quickly rejected by his teammates. He didn't expect, hi, I think it's okay. PL, okay. Wing, we can only think of a way to deal with it after experiencing it for a while. GY, maybe there's a chance against Glimpse of Shadows. Fly, huh? Just like that, Annie happily played Jingyu's Glimpse of Shadows. In the end, she chose 3 bands, Lilith, Nine-Tailed Fox, and Dark Cupid. Not a single jungler was banned. When PG saw the 3 bands, they were all shocked. Luo Yiming, what the fuck? Yi Hong, which one of you told them that we were going to treat Annie to a meal? Han Lang, we just discussed it today. Who had the chance to tell them? Did they eavesdrop on us? Luo Yiming was shocked. He searched himself all over for a bug. Jingyu. Compared to eavesdropping, did you forget about the existence of a recording? If this recording was released, he wondered if people would question the relationship between PG and Ain. Yi-hong was the first to react. "Oh, about that, let me explain. We invited A&E to a meal because of the camaraderie we built up over the years. We're all teams that made it to the top 8 from the qualifiers. It's normal to kill each other on the stage and off the stage." Yes, yes, yes. Han Leng agreed. The esports scene is quite small. Competition is competition, but we're all friends in private. Luo Yiming wanted to retort, but Yi-hong quickly covered his mouth. Yi-hong then said, "Don't worry, A&E's fans. We'll treat them to a good meal. Han Leng, it's definitely healthy and delicious. Qin Fei, yes, it's definitely not poisoned. You make it sound like A&E has already accepted the invitation." Jing Yu was willing to bet that if they really invited A&E to a meal after winning the match, A&E would definitely reject them on the spot without any hesitation. However, A&E's band position was a bit strange in this round. Jing Yu hesitated for a moment, but he still locked onto his sweeping shadow. He wanted to see what A&E was up to. In the end, his sweeping shadow flew the entire time without any hindrance. The rhythm was so smooth that even he was afraid of it. After taking down a pentacle, for the first time, he didn't bother to say anything. Instead, he asked with a conflicted expression, "Seriously, did someone really mention a meal to A&E?" Qin Fei couldn't help but laugh out loud. "Even if they did, do you think A&E would be bought over by a meal?" Han Leng, also, we didn't even have a chance to mention it to them. Yi-hong, unless one of us has a doppelganger skill or transmigrates to the past to mention it to them. Luo Yiming, I think A&E's entire team transmigrates to the future and transmigrates back to give us their heads. Transmigrating to the future and then transmigrating back, Jing Yu was convinced by his teammates' imagination. Why don't you say that someone in A&E awakened the ability to see the future? Luo Yiming, fuck. That makes sense. Jing Yu, == compared to PG's team of 5, Fong Luo Fan was clearly much more rational. He revealed the truth, A&E has already given up. They didn't play seriously against PG at all. Instead, they purposely created opportunities for Sweeping Shadow to seize, giving Sweeping Shadow a lot of opportunities to show off. Yo also saw it. A&E seems to be thinking of a way to counterattack Sweeping Shadow, but they haven't made any progress. Fong Luo Fan, PG traded 0 for 5 and wiped out A&E again. It's starting to fight the dragon. I feel like there's no suspense in this round. Yo, yes, PG is going to make a move. Sure enough, after PG's team of 5 took down the Magic Dragon, they followed the Magic Dragon army and crushed A&E's territory in minutes to win the match. 2-0. Luo Yiming, this round is so satisfying. Yi-hong, so satisfying that I feel empty. Han Leng, the most satisfying one is still Jing Yu. 22 kills. Awesome. Qin Fei, it's all a gift from him. I feel like A&E just wanted to see my sweeping shadow this round. Jing Yu finally realized it and blushed with shame. Halfway through the round, he almost thought that he was fighting against a human and almost died. Luckily, Sweeping Shadow could save his life, and he managed to escape with only a sliver of health left. In the end, he had a heaven-defying record of 22 kills, 0 deaths, and 6 assists. He couldn't believe that the match with A&E had ended just like that. None of the strategies he had prepared before the match had been used. Jing Yu shrugged, got up from his chair, and followed his teammates to the stairs. Then, he remembered something. These people wouldn't really treat A&E to a meal in front of the entire audience, right? Should he stop them or stop them or stop them? Chapter 129. PG once again defeated their opponent 2-0. Fong Luo Fan was undoubtedly excited. This way, PG had 7 points, and they were basically guaranteed to advance to the finals. Although their last opponent was MY, the champion team of last season. However, this team's performance this season wasn't very good, and they only had 4 points. Even if they defeated their opponent 2-0 today, they only had 6 points. Of course, it wasn't advisable to underestimate their opponent. The closer it was to the end, the more they couldn't relax. The host praised PG as he watched the players of the two teams return to the stage. The MVP animation on the big screen appeared very quickly, and there was no suspense. It was Jing Yu's glimpse. Jing Yu's glimpse has a 100% winning rate in the points competition. The host excitedly said this fact, and then walked in front of Jing Yu and asked him, in the netizens' poll of LD's most difficult demon to use, glimpse was ranked first, but you used it so smoothly. Is it easy for you? When Jing Yu took the microphone, he found that his teammates were winking at each other, especially Luo Yiming and Yi Hong, the two who wanted to see the world in chaos. Jing Yu obviously understood what they meant, but he directly ignored them and seriously replied to the host, "It's okay, playing glimpse does require a certain amount of proficiency, but as long as you understand it, it's fine." He spoke the truth, but to others, it was more abstract. Players who wanted to learn glimpse would undoubtedly want to hear more, and wanted to know some shortcuts to playing this demon. But in this world, how could there be so many shortcuts? Jing Yu's comprehension ability was higher than others, and he spent a lot of time practicing. The host clearly didn't plan to learn glimpse, so after asking Jing Yu this question, he took the microphone back and went to interview Ain. While he was interviewing Ain, Luo Yiming whispered in Jing Yu's ear, "Why didn't you say something about the meal?" Yi Hong didn't mind, and smiled, "We'll talk about it later." Jing Yu pretended that he didn't hear anything. The host's question to Ain was rather sharp. "You guys don't seem to be playing seriously these 2 rounds. Have you given up on yourself?" The person who took the microphone was Ane's assistant, Hi. She replied calmly, "It's nothing. We've always been serious about matches, but we knew that we wouldn't be able to beat the current PGs with our old lineup and playstyle, so we wanted to try a new strategy. In the first round, the original plan was to have 4 players protect 1 player, which meant that everyone else would be sacrificed and the economy would be given to the shooter to ensure the development of the shooter. Obviously, this tactic was a failure. In the second round, we tried to find a breakthrough on Fleeting Shadow, but we failed. Therefore, we have nothing to say about the 0-2 result. It's because we're not as good as them. But we will continue to look for a breakthrough, and one day we will win back the points from PG." His speech was flawless and hot-blooded. Even he himself believed it. His teammates also looked at him with admiration. Fly even secretly gave him a thumbs up. The audience was no doubt curious about PG's feelings after hearing this. The host picked up the microphone and walked over to PG's team. "Is there anything else you'd like to say to Ane? Here's my chance." Luo Yiming immediately reached out to snatch the microphone. This time, he managed to snatch it. But before he could say anything, Yi Hong snatched it away. Treating Ane to a meal was something that could be joked about in private, but in reality, one had to be careful. At this time, only Yi Hong could do it. He picked up the microphone and smiled at Ane's team. Ane's courage to break through is moving. It's something that all teams should learn from. PG is also looking forward to playing against Ane again. Maybe it's because we've participated in the qualifiers, group matches, and knockout matches together, but PG feels that Ane's team is especially close. Ane's team. We don't feel close at all. Thank you. Yi Hong. Therefore, our team discussed this in private and decided to treat Ane to a meal to deepen the relationship between our 2 teams. Ane's team. Looking at their dumbfounded faces, Yi-hong calmly sent out an invitation. As the saying goes, there's no time like the present. How about today? Let's have lunch together. Do you want to come? No. ANE's top laner PL was the first to react. Why are you treating us to a meal? Isn't that strange? Jungler Fly's thoughts gradually changed. He just said that he feels that we're very close and wants to deepen our relationship. I think that's pretty good, right? Support high. Aren't you afraid that they'll poison you? Mid laner Wing, this. It shouldn't be, right? The match is over. Archer GY, it still feels weird. Because there was no microphone, the audience couldn't hear these words. Only the host and PG's team could hear them. Yi-hong pretended that he didn't hear anything. He smiled and said, then it's decided. Don't go back yet. Come with us. Then, he handed the microphone back to the host. Host, ANE's team, PG's team was too self-centered, right? Amidst the audience's discussion, the host smiled and concluded the match. The two teams went upstairs to pack their things and prepared to leave. A few minutes later, they met at one of the entrances of the competition venue. Hai saw PG's team and asked, "What's the meaning of this?" Luo Yiming, I'll explain. Actually, it's like this, Luo Yiming exaggerated the grudge between him and Kid's team. Yi-hong added Coach Fong Luofan's version. Han Lang concluded, in other words, it's to thank you for defeating Kid. ANE's team, this reason was completely unexpected. However, after a period of silence, they accepted it without any hesitation. PL, Kid is too fucking bad. Hi, that's a bit too much. Fly, I didn't expect Kid to be like this. Wing, luckily I wasn't there. GY, so what are we going to eat? Han Lang told them the address. Qin Fei yawned. Wait a minute, coach. And so, after a period of time, the two teams and Fong Luofan booked an entire floor of the revolving restaurant. Jingyu didn't have any interest in this development, it was too flirtatious. PG's action of treating ANE to a meal was too flirtatious, but ANE actually accepted it. After taking the elevator to the restaurant, Jingyu obediently followed behind Qin Fei. Basically, he took whatever Qin Fei took. Qin Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry when he realized this. What are you doing? Take whatever you want to eat. You don't have to follow me. Jingyu just didn't want to be too far away from Qin Fei. My tastes are similar to yours. This was a good reason. Qin Fei gave up. Then find a seat. I'll take 2 portions of everything. No. Jingyu surrendered and told the truth. I want to follow you. Okay. Qin Fei sighed helplessly. Thinking that Jingyu really didn't have any interest in food, he let him be. After a period of time, the two of them sat down on an empty sofa with a plate in their hands. After sitting down, Jingyu subconsciously looked out the window. The revolving restaurant was slower than he had imagined, and the scenery outside was moving at a very slow speed. As he looked, he couldn't help but become absent-minded. Before he could react, he felt a warm touch on his lips. He froze for a moment and looked back. He saw Qin Fei supporting his head with one hand and looking at him lazily. He held a fork in his other hand and touched his lips with a piece of freshly cut beef. The warm touch that Jingyu felt came from this piece of beef. He tentatively opened his mouth, took the beef, and chewed carefully. He didn't notice that this scene was seen by Fly, who was passing by. Fuck. Fly almost knocked over the plate in his hand. Whoosh, he flashed to his own territory. No, he rushed all the way to his teammates and sat down. PL and HI were faster. They were already sitting down and eating. Seeing Fly so flustered, they were a little surprised. PL, little Fly, what's wrong with you? Ichi, did you see PG poisoning? No. Fly took his plate that didn't have much food and sat down next to the two. He secretly glanced in the direction of Qin Fei and Jingyu. After making sure that they didn't notice him, he whispered, I think the relationship between Brother Fei and Jingyu is not normal. Is he gay? This was PL's first reaction, but he just said it casually. Unexpectedly, Fly nodded affirmatively. I saw Brother Fei feeding Jingyu. They're two big men. It's not like Jingyu doesn't have hands. PL, fuck, he's really gay. Hi. Top laner and jungler. It's quite strange that they can be together. At this moment, Wing and GY arrived. As soon as the two of them sat down, they were fed the gossip about Qin Fei and Jingyu. Then, Wing put down his knife and fork and stood up. I'm going to see the other four. Each eye, you're really not afraid of being silenced. Wing ignored them and crept toward Qin Fei and Jingyu. However, he was stopped halfway by Yi Hong. What are you doing? Yi Hong smiled. Wing coughed and raised his hand to scratch his head. Actually, I'm Brother Fei's little fan. I want to ask him for an autograph. As he spoke, he saw his teammates line up one by one toward Qin Fei and Jingyu. Wing almost vomited blood. Was he trying to distract them? Thus, while Qin Fei was feeding Jingyu cake, the four of them sneaked behind the sofa. Through the surrounding glass decorations, Qin Fei saw the four sneaky people behind him at a glance, but he pretended not to see anything. He turned his gaze back to Jingyu's face and found at the corner of Jingyu's mouth was stained with cream. Without thinking, he leaned over and kissed the corner of his lips. Even if it's a buffet, you can't waste it, understand? Chapter 130. Jingyu didn't expect Qin Fei to suddenly kiss him, so he stopped chewing. After Qin Fei licked off the cream on his lips, the corners of his mouth unconsciously raised a playful arc. It's clean. Jingyu coughed and was about to respond when he suddenly heard a noise behind him. He was shocked and instinctively turned around, but there was nothing but glass. He secretly sighed in relief and turned around. He didn't dare to look at Qin Fei. Brother Fei, we're in public, okay, I understand. Qin Fei used a fork to pick up a piece of steak and put it into his mouth, pretending that nothing had happened. While chewing, he casually forked a piece for Jingyu. Jingyu looked at him helplessly. In the end, he didn't say anything and obediently took the piece of steak from his fork. At this moment, Ain and the others were covering their mouths and squatting behind the sofa. They were almost suffocating from holding their breath. They finally found their way back to their original seats and sat down. They couldn't help but sigh. I'm blind, I was kissed in the face. Seriously. You've blinded my 24K single dog eyes. Actually, I think it's a little sweet. After Xiao Fei said this, he was immediately targeted by 3 pairs of eyes. In the end, he shrugged and said, it's good. Lovers eventually become gay. PL, no wonder they have such good chemistry. GY, PL, don't be dirty. At this moment, Wing finally got rid of Yi Hong and came back. He looked at the 4 of them with resentment. Did you guys have fun watching? Although he said this, he actually saw a little from afar. After confirming that Qin Fei and Jingyu were really together, he was relieved. He sat down next to the 4 of them and said, to be honest, I never imagined Brother Fei having a girlfriend. Now, he has a boyfriend. When Wing told Yi Hong that he was Qin Fei's little fan, it was true. In the last season's points competition, although they defeated PG 2-0 in the end, as a mid laner, he was ganked by Qin Fei throughout the whole process and killed countless times. No matter how careful he was, no matter how hard he tried to escape, as long as Qin Fei's demon appeared on the screen, Wing would definitely be chased to death. Then, as he died, Wing could not help but admire Qin Fei. This person was really awesome. He was probably suffering from Stockholm Syndrome. The five of them chatted for a while and soon talked about other things. They chatted as they ate, and the atmosphere was quite harmonious. Yi Hong looked at them from afar as he took the sauce. He felt a little helpless. Brother Fei really didn't hide anything. Wasn't he worried that Ane's people would spread rumors? Oh, Brother Fei probably wasn't worried at all. He couldn't wait for the whole world to know that he was together with Jingyu, right? Poor little Jingyu, who was completely in the dark. Yi Hong didn't plan to tell Jingyu that. He didn't even plan to disturb the two of them. He took his plate and sauce to Fang Luofan's table. Soon, Luo Yiming and Han Ling also came. When they sat down, they casually asked, "Where's Brother Fei?" "He's talking to Jingyu about something." "Don't disturb them." Yi Hong said seriously, Eat. After eating, go back to practice. Don't forget that there's a match tomorrow." Luo Yiming, oh. Fang Luofan took a sip of coffee and slowly said, "Speaking of tomorrow's match, the opponent is my stop." Yi Hong looked at him with disdain. "Eat properly when you're eating. We'll talk about the match when we get back." Fang Luofan was silent. Then he said, His status as a coach was getting lower and lower. Especially when Qin Fei wasn't here, they ate for a long time. After all, it was a buffet. They could eat as much as they could within the time limit. When Qin Fei paid, Jingyu secretly glanced at his phone screen. The amount that popped up was more than 3,000. Qin Fei paid without batting an eyelid. Jingyu's heart ached. Before signing with PG, he wouldn't have been able to make that much money in a month. After paying, PG and ANE went their separate ways. On the way back, they found someone in the group asking Ball Si Li Yen, "Where did you guys go to eat?" "I want to go too." "Jock Xiao, yeah, why didn't you bring us?" Then PG and ANE each shared a bunch of food photos, making the people in the group salivate. When asked why PG wanted to treat ANE to a meal, the two teams tacitly didn't mention the kid. They kept saying, for the friendship of the team, for the counterattack of the last place in the quarterfinals. Gifts blind one's eyes. ANE cooperated with PG the whole time. She didn't mention anything that she shouldn't, including the relationship between Qin Fei and Jingyu. At first, Qin Fei was looking forward to whether or not ANE would expose their relationship. In the end, he saw ANE's cowardly look. He turned off the screen expressionlessly. Since there was no one in the club today, the door was locked. Qin Fei and Fang Luofan each had a key to the club. Seeing Fang Luofan open the door, Qin Fei let go of the key in his pocket. Then he noticed that a black Lamborghini was parked in front of the club. The car's coquettish appearance was really eye-catching. Soon, Luo Yiming also noticed it. "That's a Lamborghini. Whose car is it?" "Someone from Brother Fei's family came." This was Han Lang's first reaction. "No." Qin Fei frowned. He didn't know why, but he suddenly had a bad premonition. Just as Fang Luofan opened the door to the club, the Lamborghini also opened the door to the driver's seat. There was actually someone inside. A man wearing black sunglasses got out of the driver's seat. He walked straight to the back seat and opened the door. Then he helped an old man with a head full of white hair get out. The old man didn't look too old. He looked to be in his 60s. His white hair looked like it was dyed. He also wore black sunglasses and a very tasteful suit. When he got out of the car, he looked like an upper-class person. When he got out of the car, Luo Yiming suddenly shrank back as if he felt some danger. Who is this person? Yi Hong, I don't know him. Han Lang, me too. Qin Fei narrowed his eyes slightly. Almost instinctively, he shielded Jingyu behind him. Jingyu originally had the attitude of watching a show, but when he saw Qin Fei's actions, he suddenly realized something and widened his eyes in disbelief. Then he saw the driver of the Lamborghini close the door and walk straight to him. Young Master Jingyu, our chairman Qian has something to discuss with you. May I ask if there's a private room in your club? Young Master. Luo Yiming was the first to cry out in surprise. Then he saw Qin Fei and Jingyu's expressions darken at the same time. Calling him young master meant that the person was someone from Jingyu's family. It couldn't be his mother's family, so it could only be. Before Jingyu could speak, Qin Fei spoke first. What can't be said in public? The man in sunglasses replied expressionlessly, family matters. Qin Fei, oh, then there's no need to talk about it. As far as I know, Jingyu is an orphan. As far as you know, the man in sunglasses replied stiffly and looked at Jingyu. Young master, do you want to talk inside? Qin Fei still wanted to say something, but Jingyu grabbed his arm and stopped him. Jingyu sized up the two of them and very calmly said, okay. This old man, could he be his grandfather? There were still some empty rooms on the second floor of the club, but Jingyu didn't want to take the two upstairs to talk at all. In the end, he borrowed the conference room on the first floor. He sat down facing the two of them. The lighting in the conference room wasn't very good, so the two of them finally took off their sunglasses, revealing two faces that were very unfamiliar to Jingyu. The young one was always expressionless, and the old one didn't say a word the whole time, making Jingyu feel very depressed. Let me introduce, this is the chairman of the Qian Corporation, Qian Jin, the young one said. As for me, I'm Zhou Qi, you can call me Xiao Zhou. Young Master Jingyu, Chairman Qian is your grandfather. After hearing Zhou Qi's words, Jingyu suddenly understood. Okay, it's confirmed, he's my grandfather. Why are you looking for me? He asked expressionlessly. The one who replied was indeed Zhou Qi. You're the young master of the Qian family, Chairman Qian is obviously here to take you home, I'm not going back. Jingyu calmly interrupted him and continued, is there anything else? Zhou Qi seemed to be a little embarrassed, and after a while, he said, the Qian family doesn't object to you playing games, but at your age, you probably won't be able to play for many more years, so you have to think about your future. Chairman Qian's intention is, after you retire, why don't you come to the corporation for an internship, and then inherit the corporation? Jingyu laughed, but it was different from the kind of laughter that came from the bottom of his heart. At this moment, his laughter was a little mocking. He turned his head and looked at his so-called grandfather. Let me guess, because your only son died and you can't give birth to another son, you came to find me? After all, I have a quarter of your blood in me. As he spoke, he saw that the two of them didn't refute him, and he almost laughed out of anger. What do you take me for? The carrier of your genes, a tool for you to carry on the family line. First of all, I don't admit that you're my grandfather, I don't even admit that I have a father. Jingyu said coldly and firmly, not giving the two of them a chance to interrupt. I was brought up by my mother, and I grew up because of her alone. What have you done for me? You've never given me any warmth, what right do you have to say that you're my family? When I said I wouldn't admit it, I didn't admit it. Now that you've finally admitted it, why should I accept it? Jingyu was too young to understand a lot of things back then, so his words were all based on his feelings. However, this anger was real. He hated everyone, including his father, who was nominally his family, but ignored him and his mother, and even tried to kill them all. If these people didn't come to provoke him, it would be fine. He could treat them as strangers, each living their own lives and having nothing to do with each other. However, they came to find him, and Jingyu had a target to vent his anger on. "You actually have the face to come to me, I really admire you." Jingyu was angry, and both his voice and tone were extremely cold. "You should know how your son died, right?" Hearing this, Qian Jinjia's expression changed, and Zhou Qi didn't understand. Seeing Qian Jinjia's expression, Jingyu was more certain of his guess, but he didn't intend to reveal it on the spot. After all, he didn't want to be hunted down again. "You can go back and pretend that nothing happened today. Anyway, it's impossible for me to be your grandson, not in this lifetime." Zhou Qi frowned, not understanding why Jingyu would give up such a good opportunity. "Do you know the Qian Corporation?" He was so anxious that he even forgot to use honorifics. Jingyu replied pretentiously, "I don't lack money." Okay, there was no way to chat. Zhou Qi silently looked at Qian Jinjia, waiting for him to decide whether to leave or stay. After a period of time, Qian Jinjia expressionlessly opened his mouth. His slightly aged voice carried an indescribable majesty, causing Jingyu to have goosebumps all over his body. He said, "What money can do is far more than you think. Whether it's reputation or women." Hearing the word women, Jingyu felt nauseous, and almost reflexively shouted, "Shut up." He thought of his mother, Jiao Shi. She was the only person he relied on for the first 20 years of his life, and also a wound in his heart that could never be healed. Before he met Qin Fei, he felt that he was born for Jiao Shi. He was a sinner, and he had to treat her well for the rest of his life to atone for his sins. He even felt that he was lower than everyone else, and that he didn't deserve to be loved by anyone. That was why he acted so lowly in front of Qin Fei, afraid that he would lose him if he wasn't careful. Qian Jinjia shouldn't have mentioned women at this time. Regardless of whether he meant that he could buy women with money, or that he could get women with money, when Jingyu heard these two words coming out of his mouth, the first thing he thought of was his mother's weak but strong back, which made his fingers tremble in pain. "I'll say it clearly, I don't hate money, but I hate you," Jingyu said as he stood up from the chair. If they didn't leave, he would leave, okay? He really didn't want to stay with these two people for a moment longer. And he took one last look at Qian Jinjia, and said in a gloating tone, "I don't like women, I like men. So even if I inherit your company, I can't carry on the family line for you. Give up." After saying that, he didn't give the two of them a chance to respond. He rushed to the door, pushed it open, and walked out. When Jingyu went out, his eyes were a little red. With his blurred vision, he didn't see what was going on outside at all, and directly bumped into a strong embrace. It was a familiar scent. It was Qin Fei. From the moment Jingyu entered the conference room, Qin Fei had been standing at the door waiting for him, ready to rush in to save him. He didn't expect Jingyu to come out by himself, and the moment he came out, he threw himself into his arms. Yi Hong and the others were sitting in the hall out of curiosity, so they all saw this scene. Qin Fei was hesitating whether to push Jingyu away, but unexpectedly, in front of everyone, Jingyu raised his hands and hugged his waist tightly. "Brother Fei," hearing his weak call, Qin Fei immediately gave up on the idea of pushing him away. He hugged him back with one hand and patted his head with the other. "Are you in a bad mood?" Jingyu replied with an his whole body relaxed as he nestled in Qin Fei's arms and closed his eyes. He knew that his teammates were in the hall, but he didn't care what they thought of him anymore. In any case, they would find out sooner or later. In any case, he had already come out to his grandfather. Coming out of the closet could only happen once or countless times. The current Jingyu really wasn't afraid of coming out of the closet at all. He believed that Jiao Shi would also support him. He was 20 years old this year. If it were someone else's mother, she would probably be urging him to get a girlfriend. But Jiao Shi, whether it was in the past or now, most often said to him, "Don't be fooled by women." Jingyu hugged Qin Fei like this for a while. When Qian Jinjia walked out of the meeting room and saw this scene, his face became a lot gloomier. He originally thought that Jingyu would say this to find an excuse to completely get rid of him. Could it be? When Jingyu heard footsteps behind him, he knew that the two of them had come out. He looked up at Qin Fei and said, "Kiss me." Qin Fei smiled helplessly. He knew that Hu Jinyao wanted to perform for the two of them, but he still lowered his head and kissed him. Yi Hong whistled on the spot. Luo Yiming and Han Lang were stunned. Luo Yiming, what the fuck? Han Lang, so exciting. After the kiss, Jingyu was a little shy. He buried his head in Qin Fei's chest. However, he didn't regret it at all. Qian Jinjia left with an ashen face. When he walked out of the door, he tripped on the ground and was quickly caught by Zhou Qi. After the two of them left, Jingyu poked his head out of Qin Fei's chest. He didn't dare to look at the expressions on his teammates' faces. Qin Fei put his arm around Hu Jinyao's shoulder and faced the three of them together. He said jokingly, "Let me introduce you guys. This is GF, my girlfriend, Jingyu." Han Lang, what does that mean? Yi Hong. No way, don't you know? Girlfriend. Han Lang, isn't he your boyfriend? Luo Yiming, so that's what GF means. Jingyu was dumbfounded. Qin Fei smiled and patted his head. Okay, my boyfriend. That's it, we're together. Since Qin Fei came out of the closet first and treated Jingyu differently, the teammates accepted it very quickly. Yi Hong, that's great, two of us are no longer single. Han Lang, a handsome guy and a beautiful girl. What a perfect match. Luo Yiming, can we treat each other to a meal? Fang Luo Fan, who was sitting in the corner and watching the entire process, coughed and said, "We'll talk about the meal another day. Let's go to the meeting." After that, he got up and walked to the conference room. The others followed. Jingyu looked at them and blinked in surprise. That's it. Coming out of the closet was easier than he thought. Qin Fei knew what he was thinking. He smiled and put his arm around Hu Jinyao's neck. "How is it? Is it okay?" Jingyu said, Some things aren't as difficult as you think after actually doing it." Qin Fei said as he led Jingyu to the conference room. "After the game, tell your mom about this. She's with me for the rest of her life. You have to let her know. After all, she's your only family." Okay. Jingyu agreed obediently. It was unknown what he thought of, but he suddenly smiled. "No, I have another relative now." "It's you," Jingyu said seriously. When Qin Fei heard these two words, he turned his head and kissed the corner of Jingyu's lips. It was a light touch, but it made Jingyu's heart beat faster. However, when the two stepped into the conference room, they let go of each other. Dating was important, but the game was more important. After all, dating could be done at any time. If they lost the game, they could only wait for the next season. And they didn't have many seasons to wait. After the 5 people were all seated, Fang Luofan calmly began his analysis of Team MY. Tomorrow is the last game of the points competition. Our luck definitely isn't good, but it's not bad either. Although MY was the champion team of the previous season, there was an obvious decline in their performance this season. To sum up their playing style, they're using defense as offense. If it weren't for the fact that everyone in their team is strong, it would be very difficult for them to gain a foothold. So we have an advantage against Team MY. If Team MY is a strong shield, then we're a sharp spear. They use defense as offense, while we use offense as defense. It's easier for us to take the initiative. Team MY likes to use demons with high HP in defense. The characteristic of these demons is that they're very stable in the early stages, but can't do any damage in the later stages. So Team MY is actually a team that plays in the early stages. In the early stages, it's a competition of economy. The best way to widen the economic gap is to counter junglers. As Fong Luofan spoke, he looked at Qin Fei and Jingyu, who were sitting side by side, the junglers of Shangye. You know how to counter, right? Qin Fei couldn't help but smile when he thought of the answer, Shangye combined. Jingyu nodded seriously, we'll do our best. The next morning, Fong Luofan received news from Xiao Yun that PG's popularity had increased again. Even ANE's popularity had increased. Fong Luofan checked, and sure enough, PG had surpassed JOK. His popularity was close to BLC's. ANE's popularity had also skyrocketed overnight, and was about to surpass SKR. 1. As for the reason, it made people not know whether to laugh or cry. It was actually because of the recording of yesterday's match. After the match between PG and ANE ended, some people suspected that ANE had been bribed by PG to fake the match. In the end, when the recording was released, it was a slap in the face. One of them had a strange way of thinking, and the other had a strange way of thinking. Strange way of thinking, PG felt that ANE was very close. In order to deepen the friendship between the two teams, they had been discussing treating each other to a meal before and after the match. In the end, they had actually invited each other on the spot. Strange way of thinking, ANE felt that they couldn't beat PG with their usual tactics, so they tried to find a way to beat him. In the end, they had accidentally sent him to his death. They were also helpless. Then, after yesterday's lunch, the members of both teams, even on their official Weibo, posted pictures of the food. They even shared them with each other, proving once again that deepening the friendship between teams was reliable. In short, when the recording was released, all the misunderstandings disappeared. PG had even attracted a large wave of fans because he had treated ANE to a meal. A large part of the reason why ANE had gained so many fans was because of PG. The fans felt that since they were brothers, they should all be fans. There were even people who drew a doujinshi between PG and ANE. The story of how the two teams went from love and hate to becoming a family was really touching to those who listened to it, making those who read it cry, and those who read it ponder deeply. The last match between PG and MY was at 1 p.m. After the two teams finished their lunch, they arrived at the venue early in the morning. In the end, they found that there were two other teams that had arrived earlier than them. It was SKR 1 and Rule. Oh right, the last match of these two teams was at 9 a.m. In other words, they had already finished their match. After the match, they didn't leave. Instead, they chose to stay and watch the match. Yi Hong immediately took out his phone and secretly checked the final points of the two teams. In today's match, SKR 1 defeated Rule 2-1. It was as if they were proving that flexible lineups could go further than fixed lineups. SKR 1's final points were -4, while Rule's were -12. With a score of -12, they were basically at the bottom. It was still hard to say if they had a score of -4, but they definitely wouldn't be able to enter the finals. In other words, whether it was SKR 1 or Rule, they wouldn't have a chance to play this season. That was why they could sit in the audience without any worries, waiting to watch PG and MY's match. I suddenly feel so stressed, Luo Yiming said. Yi Hong immediately retorted, I'd believe it if anyone said it, but I don't believe it if you say it. In PG's team, the one who was the least nervous was Luo Yiming. But this time, Luo Yiming was really nervous. I have to win. Only by winning can I enter the finals and take revenge on Kid. As if he knew what he was thinking, Hanlang patted his shoulder and said with certainty, "We'll win." Jingyu also laughed, "Yeah, we'll definitely win." Joining PG was like getting a new life for him. He liked Qin Fei, and he liked everyone in PG. So, for Luo Yiming, for his coach, for PG, he would do his best and lead the team to victory. This way, Jiao Shi would be happy watching the live broadcast, right? Just as he was thinking this, his right hand was suddenly grabbed by Qin Fei. Qin Fei grabbed his hand, pried open his fist, and gently rubbed the nail marks on his palm. "Don't be nervous, we'll just play as usual." Do you still remember PG's slogan? Causing trouble. This was Jing Yu's first reaction. Qin Fei laughed. "We're just having fun. Don't forget, PG's full name is Playing Gaily." Chapter 131. Perhaps it was because it was the last day of the competition, but the number of people in the live audience and the live stream had reached an unbelievable level. There were no empty seats in the stadium. There were even people squatting in the aisles. The live stream on all the major platforms was lagging due to the large number of people and comments. Weibo and the forums were also discussing this matter. On LD's official forum, there was a topic called, "Who will enter the finals?" early in the morning. It was still in the top 10 of the day. 0L, who will enter the finals? 1L, right now, PG and Kid are tied for first place with 7 points, BALC with 6 points, and Mai with 5 points. The 2 spots for the finals are basically decided by these 4 teams. 2L, PG's opponent is Mai. One of these 2 teams will definitely enter the finals. Kid against BLC, only one of them will enter the finals. 3L, this devilish schedule. It's so unfriendly to people like me who support both Kid and BLC. 4L, hugging the person above me. I support both PG and Mai. 5L, me too, supporting both PG and Mai. Hugging myself with heartache. 6L, between PG and Mai, I think Mai has a higher chance of winning, right? But I really hope PG can win. 7L, I like Brother Fei, I like Jingyu, and I like PG's aggressive team. Good luck PG. 8L, I like PG too. Every time I watch PG's match, I feel so excited. 9L, yes. It was so satisfying to watch the goldfish collect heads. It makes me feel like my OCD has been cured. 10L, me too. Every time I watch PG's match, my hands itch to play a match myself. In the end, I get pinned to the ground and taught a lesson. 11L, ha 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 ha. Upstairs, I'm dying of laughter. Today's commentators were Aban and Tanghua. Through the screen, they watched the 2 teams enter the competition room. When they heard the applause and screams outside the commentary room, they couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Tanghua, there are so many people here today. Aban, yeah, it's so lively. Tanghua, it feels like there are more people here than in the morning. Are there a lot of fans of the 2 teams? Aban, after all, there are 2 teams in this competition. One is the champion team from last season, while the other is highly regarded this season. Both teams are very popular. Tanghua, speaking of which, I feel that this season, whether it's PG's strength or popularity, they've shot up like a rocket. However, they should be under a lot of pressure now since they're up against a veteran champion team like MY, right? Aban, Mai and PG are like 2 extremes. When MY participated in the competition, both sides would always get the same number of kills. Usually, until the end of the competition, both sides would only get single digits of kills. PGs were the exact opposite. Whenever PGs participated in a match, the number of kills obtained by both sides would always be inconceivable. In the last match between PG and ANE, Jingyu alone had taken 22 kills. It was simply too shocking. Of course, that match had something to do with Ane's terrible tactics. When he said the last sentence, Aban's tone was somewhat helpless. Ha 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 ha. Tanguo couldn't help but laugh out loud. ANE is also a very interesting team. This season, their lineup and playstyle are much more flexible than last season. Although they're not as stable as last season, their results are incomparable to last season's. Aban, okay, let's not waste any more time. Let's watch PG and Mai's match. In the last elimination match, Luo Yiming was the one to throw the dice. He swallowed hard and clicked on the dice with his mouse. Then, he closed his eyes, not daring to look at the result. For teams of similar strength, whether they went first or second had a huge impact on the final result of the competition. Fortunately, PG's luck was pretty good this time. Blue team went first. Just by deciding which team was the winner, the audience burst into applause. Someone shouted at the top of their lungs, "PG, go duck." Aban also heaved a sigh of relief for PG. This round, PG got the first move. They're going to ban the demons first. To put it bluntly, the difference between going first and second was that they could snatch the first spot. After the first team snatched the first spot, the second team could snatch 2 spots in one go. It was considered fair. However, the first spot was often the key to victory. Against MY, a team that specialized in defense, PG didn't hesitate to give the first banned spot to Azrael. Then, it was Mai's turn. Everyone held their breaths, waiting for Mai's choice. The countdown ticked rhythmically, but Mai's 3 banned spots were still empty. They seemed to be hesitating. Luo Yiming couldn't help but guess, Shadow Plunder. Heart of Ice. Moonshade Spider. Yi Hong, I think it's. Before he finished speaking, an animation of Nine-Tailed Fox appeared on the screen. Mai's first banned spot was given to Nine-Tailed Fox. As expected. Yi Hong said with a helpless smile. It seemed that even the champion team was afraid of Nine-Tailed Fox. For the second banned spot, Jingyu thought for a while and decided to ban Quangu. Quangu should be the demon with the strongest survivability in LD. Not only did it have high HP and defense, but it also had a displacement skill. Its biggest flaw was that it didn't have high damage. However, as a top laner, it was undoubtedly the demon that could take the most damage. It was very compatible with Mai's style and could be called the representative of this team. Just like Ariel to SOS, Lilith to PG, sure enough, Mai's second banned spot was given to Lilith. Ha! Luo Yiming blinked his eyes in surprise. If that's the case, won't the goldfish demons be released? Qin Fei was also a bit surprised, but he only raised his eyebrows and didn't say anything. For the third banned spot, Jingyu thought for a while and decided, Wanmi Liuhua. My archers had a high survival rate, and it was even harder to kill them with the 10,000 extinguishing flowing flames. After Yi Hong banned Wanmi Liuhua, he heard Jingyu say, let's see what Mai's last pick is. If it's Dark Cupid, then we'll grab Heijiao. If not, then we'll grab Dark Cupid. Yi Hong, okay, in the end, Mai's ban was Dark Cupid. PG didn't hesitate and decisively locked onto Heijiao. This was PG's first pick. Obviously, Heijiao was what PG thought was the key to victory. There was an uproar in the audience. Everyone could not hide their excitement. However, it was not because of the Black Flood Dragon's PG lock, but because of the Mai's ban position. The demons of the goldfish were all released. They didn't ban Jing Yu's Glimpse of Shadows and Heart of Ice. Tang Guo exclaimed. This is the same as not banning Li Yan's Sword Burial. Isn't Mai's too confident? Aban also didn't think highly of Mai's banned spot. The grass on the grave of the last team that banned Mai's team is taller than me. Tangguo was amused by Aban's words and finally managed to stop herself. Aban, don't be like that. Well, I'm just stating a fact. Aban shrugged nonchalantly. But Mai's ban has its reasons. After all, my style is to tank. Even an assassin with high DPS and critical hits might not be able to kill them in one go. On the other hand, assassins have low HP, so it's easy to kill them. Therefore, not only are they not afraid of Jing Yu's assassin, but they also hope that he can take it down. Tangguo, that makes sense. While they were talking, Mai locked onto Sword Burial and Satan. The audience was in an uproar, and even the commentators couldn't help but exclaim. Tangguo, ah! All the commonly used demons in the top lane have been banned. What's PG planning to use? Qin Fei's natural Lilith was banned, and his second natural Satan was stolen. Azrael and Quangu were banned. Even Sword Burial, which was usually used as a jungler, fell into the enemy's hands. In the previous matches, Qin Fei had used Wami Liuhua to go up, but it was also banned in this match. What was he planning to use to go up? Under the nervous gazes of the commentators and the audience, PG locked onto Moonshade Spider and Soul. It looks like Jing Yu is planning to use Moonshade Spider as a jungler. Aban explained. That's a wise decision. Against demons with high HP and defense, it's better to have a crowd control player in the lineup. It'll buy time for your own ADC to kill them. Tangguo, Mai's picked Kamal and Gulen. Mai's picked Satan and Sword Burial. I think Gulen is more likely to be a support. Ever since PG used Gulen as a support, more and more teams have started to follow suit. Aban, that's right. Now it's time to see who PG will pick for the last two positions. Most importantly, it's the top lane. Before he could finish his sentence, PG had already picked Maha and Fleeting Shadow. Ha! Ha ha ha! Fleeting Shadow. Aban thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. He was stunned for a moment before he reacted. Didn't PG already lock onto Moonshade Spider? Why did he pick Fleeting Shadow? He paused. Before Tangguo could reply, he thought of a possibility. His eyes widened in disbelief. Unless Moonshade Spider isn't a jungler, but a top lane. The audience was in an uproar when they heard this guess. An assassin going up was undoubtedly a new concept for the League of Legends. Assassins had low HP and low defense. They couldn't tank damage at all. PG's choice was equivalent to giving up on the front lane. Tangguo, it's also possible that PG is just showing off Fleeting Shadow. Before he locks onto it, everything is possible. Before she could finish her sentence, PG had already locked onto Fleeting Shadow. This time, not only were the commentators and the audience stunned, even the two teams sitting in the audience were stunned. After they came back to their senses, they started to complain. PG's team is they're really brave. They're always causing trouble. In previous matches, it was rare for an assassin to appear in a lineup. Now, PG's lineup had two assassins at the same time. However, the PG players were very calm about this. Yi Hong, Brother Fei is using Moonshade Spider. TSK, if he can suppress the other team with that, the other team will start to doubt life. I think it's very possible, Hanlang said. To be honest, I've never seen Brother Fei lose to anyone in a match. Luo Yiming said straightforwardly, Brother Fei, go. Kill the other team's top lane. Qin Fei couldn't help but laugh. I think you guys have a bit of a filter on me. It was true that he had never lost to anyone in a match. No matter what kind of monster he was using, he could always suppress the other team. However, this was the first time he was using Moonshade Spider in an official match, and it was against his best player, Satan. He wasn't confident. Satan was very good, so when he saw the other team using Satan, he couldn't help but define that Satan with his own skill level. He felt that he was too awesome and couldn't beat him. Perhaps, sometimes, the onlooker sees more clearly. Jingyu, who had locked onto Fleeting Shadow, smiled and said with certainty, "Brother Fei, you'll be fine." Tisk, Qin Fei, who had high hopes placed on him by his boyfriend, had no choice but to bite the bullet. "Okay, it's just Satan. I can't kill him." Mai chose Scarlet Fury, who had a crowd control skill, as the last player. The two teams' lineups were confirmed. PG, Moonshade Spider, Heijiao, Muha, Soul, Fleeting Shadow My, Satan, Scarlet Fury, Kamal, Gulen, Sword Burial, 2 assassins. PG's lineups for this match are really exciting. Aban said, "It's obvious that they're planning to use high damage to break Mai's high defense." Tangua, this match is like a battle between a spear and a shield. The sharpest spear or the sturdiest shield? Who will win? The commentators' words heated up the atmosphere in the stadium. The audience discussed the possibility of a double assassin lineups, but their eyes were fixed on the big screen, afraid that they would miss any details. At this moment, Fong Luofan was sitting in the club and watching the live stream. When he saw the PG lineups, he was worried for Qin Fei. For a long time, the demons that Qin Fei used were quite average. They belonged to the kind of demons that were not outstanding in terms of HP, damage, and defense, but they were not weak either. Take Lilith for example. As a spell tank, Lilith's HP and defense were not high. Her damage was not bad, and she almost relied on her excellent lifesteal ability to tank damage. It was fine when she used defensive equipment, but when she used AP equipment, her HP would fluctuate, and she would be on the verge of death several times in a short period of time. It was not recommended for people with weak hearts. On the other hand, Satan's HP and defense were higher than Lilith's, but his normal attack damage was not enough. He completely relied on his big moves to deal damage. After using his big moves, he was like a piece of trash. Only Qin Fei could suppress him in the tower without using his big moves. All in all, Qin Fei's demons were balanced in all aspects. He would use different equipment according to the situation, and use these demons flexibly. However, Moonshade Spider. The basic attributes of an assassin determined that the damage she could tank was limited. Even if she used defensive equipment, she would be easily killed, and her damage would be greatly reduced. However, if she used offensive equipment, her damage would be high, but her self-defense would be even lower. Especially after using a set of skills, she would be no different from a glass vase that would break at the slightest touch. In any case, before the start of the match, Fong Luofan could not imagine how Qin Fei would fare with the Moonshade Spider. Would he be courting death, or courting death, or courting death? After the match started, Tangua, oh my god. Brother Fei's Moonshade Spider's bite directly crippled Satan. Satan counterattacked with his intimidating aura, and the Moonshade Spider escaped. Satan seemed to be preparing to retreat. Ah! The Moonshade Spider flashed in the opposite direction, and used Corrode on Satan and dealt a flat attack. Satan died. First blood is born. Fuck. As expected of Brother Fei, your Brother Fei, the match has only been going on for a minute. His playstyle is too brutal. Yes, the match had only been going on for a minute, and Qin Fei's Moonshade Spider had instantly killed Satan, taking the first blood. Fong Luofan's expression looked like this, == he really should be worried about anyone but Qin Fei. Qin Fei's Moonshade Spider had 1/3 of its health left after killing Satan. He pondered for a moment and calmly said, Jingyu, come here. Coming. Jingyu replied. He immediately had Shadow Plunder give up on killing half of the monsters, and followed Qin Fei's Moonshade Spider as fast as he could. The two of them sneaked into the upper jungle without any fear. The anti-jungler was definitely aiming for monsters with buffs. The two of them stole the green goblin that boosted attack speed in the upper jungle as fast as they could, and then retreated back to the top lane. During this time, the mid laner realized that the two of them were in his own jungle, and went to take a look at the monster pit. When he saw that the monster's health was low, he decisively used a skill to steal it. Unfortunately, he failed to steal it from Jingyu. It was impossible to chase after him. The mid laner did not forget that he was a squishy tank, and no matter how unwilling he was, he could only return to the middle lane and continue to fight against Yihong. As for his jungler, he was one step too late when he arrived at the upper jungle, and could only dejectedly farm other monsters. Candy, PG's timing for this wave of coordinated junglers is too good. He stole Mai's green goblin very smoothly. A ban, mainly because Qin Fei's Moonshade Spider killed Satan, causing Mai's top lane to fall. Mai's top laner needs to be careful. I feel that PG's strategy in this round is to widen the economic gap by using the anti-jungler, and the top lane is their breakthrough point. Tangua, haha, I feel that PG's anti-junglers will become more frequent in this round. Indeed, at the 6-minute mark, Qin Fei's Moonshade Spider once again crippled Satan and forced him into the tower. Enemy Satan hid under the tower and prepared to return to the city. Suddenly, a silver light flashed, and Fleeting Shadow appeared behind Satan, and stabbed him without hesitation. System, Fleeting Shadow, 1 kill. System, enemy Satan has been killed. After Fleeting Shadow killed Satan, Jingyu immediately used his ultimate skill to appear in the enemy's upper jungle, and started attacking the blue goblin without restraint. Soon, Qin Fei's Moonshade Spider arrived to help him. Since Fleeting Shadow flew over and started attacking Satan right after killing him, the two of them fought very quickly. By the time the enemy's mid laner and jungler arrived, they had already escaped. With a wave of their sleeves, they took away a lot of their economy. The economic gap between the two teams is widening. Dan quickly had people switch their view to the middle and bottom lane of the battlefield. Sure enough, the situation of the evenly matched battle began to change. Whether it was Yihong in the middle lane or Luo Yiming in the bottom lane, they gradually showed signs of suppressing each other. However, Mai's defense was not bad. They relied on their excellent positioning to avoid attacks while clearing out the minions before PG's members entered the tower. They were in a stalemate with PG for quite some time. However, this was only limited to the mid and bottom lanes. Mai's top lane was about to collapse. Even when Sword Burial arrived at the top lane several times to gank Qin Fei's Moonshade Spider, the Moonshade Spider and Fleeting Shadow could only push them back. Now, Mai was beginning to realize how terrifying Fleeting Shadow was. When this devil was strong, no matter which of the top, middle, or bottom lanes of PG was in trouble, Fleeting Shadow would arrive in time to provide support, and even counterattack. At the 12th minute of the match, Mai's Sword Burial ganked the bottom lane. Luo Yiming's Maha was caught in the act. Just as he was about to die, Hanling's soul activated his shield in time to block the fatal blow. Then, he successfully controlled Sword Burial. The enemy's Kamal threw a huge bomb at him. Hanling's heart sank when he saw the dazzling special effects. At this moment, a silver light flashed by. Fleeting Shadow's black figure appeared behind Kamal, who was at critical health, and finished him off with a single slash. System, Fleeting Shadow, 1 kill. System, enemy's Kamal has been killed. After killing Kamal, he quickly teleported over Sword Burial and used his big move to push him back. Sword Burial was pushed back and forth by Fleeting Shadow. His health was low, and because Fleeting Shadow was too agile, he missed and was killed by Fleeting Shadow. System, Fleeting Shadow, double kill. System, enemy sword burial has been killed. At this moment, Luo Yiming's Maha and Han Ling's soul only had a sliver of health left. They could even kill the minions. However, the two had no intention of retreating. They both used flash at the same time. One of them stalled Gulen, while the other dealt damage like crazy. They actually managed to instantly kill Gulen, who still had a healthy amount of health. Then, Fleeting Shadow teleported over and used his big move to push him back. In an instant, he entered and exited the tower. While killing Gulen, he didn't need to take damage from the tower. System, Fleeting Shadow, triple kill. System, enemy's Gulen has been killed. Ah! The audience was in an uproar. All of the PG fans couldn't help but raise the support cards in their hands. Fleeting Shadow's triple kill was too thrilling, too thrilling. Tanghua, I originally thought that this 0-for-2 was a sure win, but Jingyu's Fleeting Shadow suddenly appeared and turned the situation around. Oh my god! This is unbelievable. Aban's heart was also beating wildly. This 0-for-3 was too thrilling. If Fleeting Shadow had come one step later, not only would he not have been able to save Mahan's soul, he might have even died in the bottom lane. Tanghua, if that's the case, my bottom lane's tower will be taken by PG, right? On the big screen, Mahan's soul returned to the city to recover, while Jingyu's Fleeting Shadow followed the minions into the enemy's tower and destroyed it in a matter of minutes. System, Fleeting Shadow, destroy the enemy's tower. Aban, the economy of the two teams has been pulled apart. Mai has lost one tower each. If the middle tower falls as well, the only way to win against PG is to win as a team. Tanghua, that's right. Will MY be able to defend the middle tower? As a defensive team, if they can't defend, there's a high chance that PG will win this round. The two of them were excitedly commentating, completely unaware that in PG's battle room, Jingyu was already in high spirits. Jingyu, come on, let's have fun, there's plenty of time anyway. Chapter 132. His teammates could see that Jingyu was having a lot of fun. He even sang happily. He shared his happiness with his teammates through the headset. It was simply demonic. However, none of his teammates wanted to remind him. After all, his voice was like the horn of victory. Up until now, he had never lost a single match where he had spoken in such a way. Jingyu, Plunder's Shadow is the #1 jungler in this version. Are you convinced? Jingyu, not convinced. That's fine. Let me kill you again, Jingyu, are you convinced now? Are you convinced? Are you convinced? As he said, are you convinced, his Plunder's Shadow flew from the mid lane to the bottom lane and got a triple kill. Finally, Yihong couldn't take it anymore. Not banning Plunder's Shadow was Mai's biggest mistake. Qin Fei sneered, I think I know what they're thinking. But there's a problem. To kill an assassin, you have to be alive. Mai felt that assassins were easy to kill. As long as they took the damage, even if they were passive, they could kill the assassin. But now, they discovered a serious problem. Jingyu's glimpse would always take away their remaining HP every time he appeared. Most of the time, they would die under the tower before they could even react. There was no chance for them to retaliate. This is completely different from training. One of Mai's members couldn't help but complain, is this guy cheating? Another member replied, the goldfish itself is a cheat. The equipment brought by the players could only be connected to the computer after being checked. There was no possibility of cheating. Not to mention, in a game like LD, it was very difficult to design a cheat that could increase one's strength without being discovered. Mai's members had never felt that their defense was so weak. They had only returned to the city when they were at critical health. Now that they were at half health, they felt uneasy. Sure enough, not to mention half health, even if the archers and mages only suffered a small amount of damage, they would still be killed by Plunder's shadow. Plunder's shadow had completely developed. In order to increase his damage, Jingyu threw away his shoes. When there were enough critical hits, all of them would explode. When he attacked the enemy monsters, the damage numbers would pop up. In the later part of the team battle, Hanlang's soul tricked all of Mai's members into releasing the crowd control. Qin Fei's Moonshade Spider and Jing Yu's Plunder's Shadow rushed up together and killed a lot of people. Qin Fei's Moonshadow Spider was half tank and half damage output. It was a normal attack type, which was different from Jing Yu's skill type. He couldn't kill everyone after a set, but his damage output was very high. Without skills, he could still kill a lot of people. It was a continuous output. In short, PGs defeated my team and got wiped out. PG 0 for 5, wipe out my team. Tanghua. PG is starting to fight the dragon. PG's 5 people attacked together and quickly took down the magic dragon. Then, all of them returned to the city to recover and followed the magic dragon army towards Mai's territory. After Mai's members revived, they wanted to hide under the tower to clear out the magic dragon army. They didn't expect PG's shameless group to cross the tower and almost wipe them out again. In the end, PG fought a 1v4. The support soul died and Mai's sword burial escaped. But it was fine. They had successfully destroyed Mai's last tower. Destroying Mai's territory was just a matter of minutes. In the end, the game ended at 19 minutes. PG won. Seeing the golden word victory on the screen, Jingyu retracted his fingers that were slightly hot from typing too fast. He sighed in relief. It was easier than I thought. Yi Hong smiled. From the moment you said those words, I thought we were going to win. Jingyu was stunned for a moment. What did I say again? He didn't say anything strange, did he? Hanlang sang at the top of his voice. Come on, fake anyway, there's a lot of glory. His voice was very magnetic, and his singing was unexpectedly pleasant to the ears. Jingyu, however, blushed upon hearing his singing. Did he sing during the competition? I really don't remember. Luo Yiming corrected him. You sang wrong. Jingyu sang happy. If you don't believe me, you can ask Jingyu. Jingyu, I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know anything. In the second game, the loser made the first move. Mai chose to ban the demon first. Every ban position hesitated for a long time. Obviously, Jingyu's assassin was completely out of their expectations. They needed to think of a new strategy to fight PG. In the end, they chose 3 bans: Fleeting Shadow, Heart of Ice, and Nine-Tailed Fox. Nine-Tailed Fox was no problem. Everyone expected Fleeting Shadow to be banned, but Heart of Ice. A ban raised his eyebrows and guessed, it seems like PG's Jingyu gave MY team a lot of pressure. That's why they banned both Fleeting Shadow and Heart of Ice. Tanghua, but Jingyu still has a lot of useful assassins. For example, the Moonshade Spider, the Flower Petal of Datura, and even the half-assassin and half-warrior Wendy. A ban? Haha, that's right. The Goldfish card pool can't be completely banned anymore. However, the commentator and audience didn't expect that after MY stole Dark Cupid, PG's first ban would be Sword Burial. Jingyu is going to use Sword Burial this round. Tanghua was surprised. As soon as she finished speaking, PG chose the second demon, Moonshade Spider. Tanghua felt that she shouldn't speak so fast in the future. It would be too embarrassing. A ban laughed, It seems like Jingyu is going to use Moonshade Spider as a jungler, and Sword Burial will be the top laner. After a while, the lineups of both teams were finalized: PG, Sword Burial, Scarlet Fury, Maha, Soul, Moonshade Spider My, Lilith, Heijiao, Dark Cupid, Gulen, Satan. With this lineups, Tangguo looked carefully. The top laner is amazing. This is the first time I've seen MY with Lilith. My top laner, Lilith, is also quite strong. It's just that she hasn't been used much this season. As Aban spoke, he suddenly laughed and teased, Qin Fei has played against the demon he's best at for 2 consecutive rounds. I wonder how he's feeling right now. Qin Fei's current mood was fear. Yi Hong glanced at him and saw that his expression was normal, but he still patted him on the shoulder in an understanding manner. Every time I see my life essence in the opponent's hands, I feel like I'm going to die. Then, as I fight, I realize that you're so fucking weak that you don't deserve my life essence. Ha 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 ha. Luo Yiming was instantly amused. Then, without giving face, he retorted, I don't feel anything. In this round, the archer on the other side also had Luo Yiming's life essence. However, Luo Yiming really didn't feel anything. Anyway, he just had to kill it and be done with it. Yi Hong glanced at him. You're an anomaly. On the side, Jingyu shrugged and didn't comment. When he saw that the opponent had his life essence, not only was he not afraid, he even had a feeling that, very good, we're definitely going to win. Therefore, Luo Yiming wasn't an anomaly. It could only be said that feelings and whatnot varied from person to person. Mai felt that Qin Fei's Moonshade Spider was very strong. However, if he only had the Moonshade Spider without the fleeting shadow, he wouldn't have been able to beat them to the ground. Therefore, after some discussion, they decided to ban Jingyu's Fleeting Shadow and Heart of Ice and release the Moonshade Spider. In other words, PG's taking of the Moonshade Spider and Soul was completely within their expectations. However, what they didn't know was that Qin Fei and Jingyu's Moonshade Spider were completely different concepts. When they were controlled by Soul and Moonshade Spider and killed in one wave, they began to regret releasing the Moonshade Spider. A banned Moonshade Spider, 3 kills in one go. That's amazing. Soul's coordination is very good. PG's control of one wave rush is getting better and better. Tanggua, Brother Fei's Sword Burial killed Lilith. The system notifications appeared one after another on the screen. After Jingyu's 3 kills in the bottom lane, Qin Fei also took down Lilith. Aban immediately replayed the entire process of Qin Fei killing Lilith. When both sides were at critical health, Lilith took the initiative to use her ultimate. Qin Fei's Sword Burial blocked Lilith's ultimate, then immediately counterattacked and killed Lilith. Aban couldn't help but exclaim, as expected of Qin Fei, the timing of his block is too good. Almost at the same time as he said this, Yi Hong's Scarlet Fury flashed and controlled the enemy's Heijiao. After a series of attacks, he actually killed Heijiao. My team wiped. The live audience was in an uproar, and the commentators were also shocked. My team was wiped. Tangguo couldn't believe her eyes. This is my team. Many teams couldn't even move, but they were wiped out by PG right at the start of the game. Aban, the other teams were playing more conservatively, but PG really didn't have to worry about this. Qin Fei's Sword Burial killed Lilith with low health, so he can only return to the city to recover. Yezi's Scarlet Fury took a tower attack to kill Heijiao, and now he only has a sliver of health left. Everyone else is also at critical health. Luo Yiming's Maha had a quarter of its health left, which was slightly more than Hanling's Soul. Jingyu's Moonshade Spider also had a sliver of health left from the tower attack. Everyone's health was low. But what did it matter? They wiped my team wiped. The two teams sitting in the audience couldn't help but click their tongues when they saw this scene. Tisk, PG is a bunch of lunatics. They're too cruel, I feel a little sorry for my team. Chin Fei is really amazing, I'm a little curious, can he still suppress people under the tower with a support? The combination of Moonshade Spider and Soul is simply unbeatable. My team is too careless, I guess they didn't pay much attention to PG's matches. This season, my team was the champion team, so they were under a lot of pressure. My team paid more attention to the two teams Kid and Ball. See, they spent almost every day researching how to defeat these two teams in preparation for the finals. In the end, a PG appeared out of nowhere. After realizing that PG had a chance of advancing to the finals, my team panicked and watched a few of PG's recent matches, 2-0 against Rule. That's because Rule's team couldn't make it. They were stuck in their own ways, so it would be strange if they didn't lose. 2-0 against Jock. That's PG's mid-singles match against Jock, which broke his opponent's mentality. It wasn't surprising that they lost the entire match. 2-0 against ANE. Haha, that was a gift from ANE. After watching for a while, my team still couldn't tell where PG was strong. My team calmed down and decided to go with their usual formation and tactics. Even if they lost the first match because they underestimated their opponent, with their strength, they would definitely be able to turn the situation around in the next two matches. That was what my thought all the way until the competition started. In the end, when the match started, in the first match, my team was taught a lesson by Fleeting Shadow. In the second match, my team was defeated by Moonshade Spider. I was defeated. I was completely defeated. 0-2, this was a result they never expected. As the champion team of the previous season, they actually lost 0-2 to the last place team of the previous season. When the two golden words, victory, appeared on the big screen, the entire audience stood up, screamed, and cheered. The few who didn't stand up were obviously Mai's loyal fans. PG won. Ah! Good luck for the finals. PG is the champion. PG. 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 The noisy voices finally converged together, and the entire audience raised their support cards high up in the air to cheer for PG. This shocking scene gave all the PG players on the stairs a fright. Jingyu was still in disbelief, but at this moment, when he heard the audience's cheers, he seemed to wake up from a dream. We're in the finals. We're going to be the champion. He shouted excitedly, but Chin Fei smiled and rubbed his head. The reason why I was able to win against my opponent was because my opponent didn't know PG well enough and was caught off guard. On the other hand, PG had really become stronger. And to a large extent, this was all thanks to Jingyu's participation. Han Lang couldn't help but sigh. What kind of jungler is this? Luo Yiming, hahaha, it's great that Jingyu joined PG. Yi Hong shrugged. If you ask me, Brother Fei has a good eye. Do you remember the first time he was matched up with little Jingyu? After only one round, he could tell that little Jingyu was extraordinary. Brother Fei is really good. The five players chatted as they returned to the stage, accepting the flattery of the commentator and host. The audience's cheers were so loud that they almost drowned out the host's voice. Fortunately, the organizers learned their lesson and immediately turned up the volume of the host's microphone according to the noise level. Host, congratulations to PG for advancing to the finals. How are you feeling now? Do you have anything to say? After Luo Yiming took the microphone, he heard the audience shouting Jingyu's name. He hesitated for a moment, but still gave the microphone to Jingyu. At this moment, the MVP animation was shown on the screen. Without any suspense, it was Jingyu's Moonshade Spider. Jingyu took the microphone from Luo Yiming. The first sentence was, "I'm very happy." The second sentence was, I'm so happy that I don't know what to say. Ha 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 ha. The audience burst into laughter. Then, someone said, say something obscene. Everyone agreed and encouraged Jingyu to say something obscene. Jingyu coughed. He was obscene when he was live streaming and playing games. But in front of so many people and with his face exposed, he really couldn't be obscene. Fortunately, he didn't say that he had to be obscene. After organizing his words, he smiled at the camera. This season, we won't hesitate to reserve the throne of the champion. No matter who the final opponent is, don't even think about fighting with us. Because no matter how fast you are, you can't be faster than my ultimate move. Hee hee, ha 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 ha. Hee hee. The audience followed suit. Jingyu realized that he had accidentally said something obscene again. His face instantly turned red. Was he so sick that he couldn't help but want to obscene at the mention of fleeting shadow? Jingyu lowered his head in shame and handed the microphone back to the host. He thought that if he kept his head down, no one would notice his blushing face. He didn't think that the evil cameraman would give him a close-up at this time. The crowd burst into even louder laughter, and the live stream comments were all flooded by AWSL. He's embarrassed after saying something obscene. What kind of immortal cutie is this? Ah, Jingyu is too cute. No, you don't. Jingyu is mine. Ah, Wei died on the spot. Team I went downstairs much slower than PG. They really wanted to leave, but in the end, they forced themselves to stay on the field and accept the host's interview. Their captain took the microphone and said calmly, do your best to win the championship. Yihong lowered his voice and imitated my captain's voice to translate for him. You defeated our champion team, so you have to win the championship. Otherwise, wouldn't it seem like our champion team is weak? Luo Yiming, ha 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 ha. There's nothing wrong with that. In the end, PG defeated my 2-0 and received 2 points from 7 points. Total points, 9, my was only left with 3 points. They might not even be able to get 3rd place this season, let alone 2nd place. Qin Fei, next, let's see who will win between Kid and BALC. Jingyu, I support BALC, but I still hope Kid can win. Qin Fei raised his eyebrows. Jingyu looked at him with a burning gaze. Don't forget, our goal isn't just to win the championship. We also have to get revenge on Kid. Therefore, only if Kid also advanced to the finals would PG have a chance to fight him again. Then, they could settle old and new grudges together. Qin Fei laughed. Yes, you're right. After PG's 5 players returned to the club, they immediately held a strategy meeting. Even though Ball C had a chance of winning, in comparison, Kid was more difficult to deal with compared to Ball C. Therefore, the strategy they were discussing was basically prepared for Kid. The simplest and most brutal way to deal with a 3-shooter lineup was to prevent the opponent from getting 3 shooters. 3 bans definitely weren't enough. What else could they do? Snatching shooters. We can also practice 3 shooters, Fong Luofan said calmly. He didn't seem worried that his team wouldn't be able to do it. Jingyu immediately thought about what shooters he should use. Before he could make a decision, Fong Luofan said, Qin Fei, practice Wanmiliohua. Old Han, practice Wind of Condensation. Jingyu blinked. After confirming that Fong Luofan hadn't called him, he asked in confusion, what about me? Fong Luofan looked at him. Your Shadow Plunder, Heart of Ice, and Moonshade Spider probably won't be able to play. Practice Sword Burial on Flower Petal of Datura. Just in case, Satan and Azrael should practice as well. Jingyu, 0, seeing Jingyu's confused expression, Fong Luofan had no choice but to explain more clearly. Your shooters aren't good enough against Kid. Okay. Jing Yu understood. I'll take either an assassin or a warrior. His shooters weren't good enough. He was aware of this fact. There was nothing to be unhappy about. After all, everyone had their own specializations. Fong Luofan nodded and continued, 2 shooters will steal each other's economy. Therefore, if we really do get a 3-shooter lineup, Yiming, you'll place the order. Old Han will be the jungler, and Jing Yu will be the counter-jungler. Jing Yu, okay. Fong Luofan, if you're taking Sword Burial, you should be able to counter the jungler alone. If you're taking an assassin, Qin Fei will help. Qin Fei, okay. It seemed that the game against Kid would inevitably involve junglers. Perhaps it would be more frequent than the game against Mai. The strategy meeting lasted for more than half an hour. They focused on analyzing the style and playstyle of every player in Kid's team. Then, they predicted their lineup and determined a direction for PG's lineup. The 2 games against Mai didn't take long to review. After the meeting, the 5 of them dispersed and rested for a while. Then, they went to the training room to train. However, as soon as they sat down, they saw a stranger walk in and knock on the door of the training room. When the stranger noticed that someone had noticed him, he hesitantly asked, "Excuse me, which one of you is Qin Fei?" "Someone's looking for you outside." Qin Fei frowned and looked at the stranger. "Someone's looking for me. Did he want me to go out?" He replied bluntly, "Who's looking for me? Tell him to come in." "Ha!" The stranger didn't expect this reaction. After a while, he said, "Anyway, I've delivered the message. I'm leaving." Then, he actually left the club. Qin Fei pretended that nothing had happened. He logged into the game and put on his headphones. However, he looked at the game interface and didn't click on the ranking or matchmaking button. Jing Yu looked at him worriedly. Just as he was about to ask, he saw a group of men in black rushing into the club aggressively. Not only that, they were all holding sticks in their hands. All PG members. Fuck, what's going on? Yi Hong was so scared that he jumped up from his chair and rushed to the corner to hide. Just as Luo Yiming was matched with a teammate and entered the game, the headset on his head was suddenly pulled off by Hanlang. Ha! Before he could react, Hanlang pulled him out of his chair and threw him to Jing Yu. Jing Yu pushed Luo Yiming to Yi Hong. Thus, Yi Hong hugged Luo Yiming. The 2 of them trembled as they looked at the men in black outside the door. After a rough count, there were more than 10 of them. Hanlang frowned and made a tisk sound. Without turning his head, he asked Qin Fei, "Who did you provoke this time?" "Who knows?" Qin Fei stood side by side with him. Facing the dozen men in black, he couldn't remember who he had provoked recently. Suddenly, he noticed that one of them was holding a phone. The battle was about to start. The dozen men in black with sticks all rushed into the training room. The last person held his phone up high. It was obvious that he was taking a picture of something. Or rather, recording something. "You hold them off." Qin Fei calmly said this to Hanlang. Then, he rushed toward the men in black. After easily knocking down a few of them, he rushed to the last person and snatched the phone from his hand. "Damn it!" Qin Fei heard the man say these 2 words, but he didn't have time to respond. After putting the other person's phone in his pocket, he immediately turned to check on his teammates. He found that Jing Yu had already called the police. When Jing Yu saw this scene, his first reaction was to call the police. He stood in front of Yi Hong and Luo Yiming. After calmly calling the police, he stuffed his phone into Luo Yiming's hand. "Hold it for me." Luo Yiming took the phone in a daze. He was confused. "Why?" Yi Hong vaguely realized something. His eyes widened in disbelief. What are you doing? Jingyu turned to face the men in black. He clenched his fists and narrowed his eyes coldly. Who dares to hit my brother Fei? I'll kill them. As for the background of this group of people, he would know when the police came. Chapter 133. Jingyu's eagerness to give it a try really scared everyone. Han Ling snatched the baton from a man in black and shouted without turning his head, Jingyu, don't be rash. Step back. Stand back. As soon as he finished speaking, Jingyu rushed toward a man in black and hooked his arm around his neck, easily flipping him to the ground. Han Ling. Yi Hong. Luo Yiming, what the fuck? Jingyu didn't have time to pay attention to his shocked teammates. His attention was all on Qin Fei and he just wanted to rush over to help him. He grabbed the arm of a second man in black with one hand and twisted it inward while his other hand went under his armpit, grabbed his shoulder, and slammed him to the ground. The whole process was so smooth that it was like he had done it 1,000,000 times. The man in black screamed as he came into close contact with the ground. His arm was numb and the baton fell from his hand. It rolled a distance on the ground and came to a stop in front of Luo Yiming. Luo Yiming and Yi Hong opened their mouths wide and stared blankly with their heads lowered. They both stared blankly at the stick. As for Jingyu, he had already let go of that man and continued to rush forward. After knocking down a few more people, he finally came to Qin Fei's side and faced the men in black with their backs facing each other. Brother Fei, let me help you. Qin Fei didn't feel like he needed help. You're in the way, move aside. Jingyu, leave your back to me. Qin Fei, no, go away. As they spoke, the two of them knocked down a few more people each. Han Ling found his voice after a long time. I say, since the two of you are so good at fighting, why don't one of you help me? Even though he said that, he still couldn't believe that Jingyu was so good at fighting. It was as if he had practiced it before. Suddenly, Yi Hong cried out, Brother Fei, watch out. Hearing these words, Jingyu turned around abruptly. He saw someone take out a blade from his pocket and aim it at Qin Fei's hand. Jingyu didn't even think about it. He raised his leg and kicked the man's knee, knocking him down. Almost at the same time, Qin Fei grabbed the man's wrist and twisted it forcefully, making him loosen his grip and snatching the blade from his hand. Soon, the sirens of police cars approached. The men in black fled in panic, but because of Qin Fei and Jingyu's obstruction, none of them managed to escape from the club. In the end, they were all caught by the police. Are you hurt? Yi Hong asked the three of them anxiously. Especially your hands. It's not that I want to say this, but you guys are esports players after all. Can't you be more careful when you're fighting? He, who didn't know how to fight, watched from the back with trepidation. Han Ling raised his hands and clenched them into fists. I'm okay, just a little tired. Qin Fei replied bluntly, I'm fine. Jingyu finally realized that he had been exposed. He raised his hand and touched his nose guiltily. I'm fine. Luo Yiming had fought before, but he was basically the one who was pressed to the ground. So, no matter how much he wanted to help earlier, he could only hide in the back with Yi Hong. He still had lingering fears. Who are these people? Isn't it too scary to suddenly rush in? Qin Fei remembered the phone and blade he had just snatched and took them out. He threw the blade to Jingyu and opened his phone to check. He found that it required a password to unlock, so he could only click his tongue and throw it to Jingyu. Hand it to the police later. Jingyu obediently agreed. Seeing these two evidence, Yi Hong immediately reacted. Someone doesn't want us to play in the finals. Luo Yiming was completely dumbfounded. What do you mean? Yi Hong pointed at the phone. At first, they probably wanted to record a video of us fighting. Fighting is strictly prohibited during the competition. If the organizers find out, we will be banned. Later, Brother Fei snatched their phone, so they changed their plan at the last minute and attacked Brother Fei's hand. Obviously, their goal is to prevent us from playing in the finals. Fuck. Luo Yiming looked at Qin Fei's hand and didn't see any wounds. Only then did he relax and frown. Who sent these people? This is too vicious. Jingyu also frowned. They are completely targeting Brother Fei. If I wasn't afraid of being banned, I would kill them. Luo Yiming, Yi Hong, and Han Lang, so this is Jingyu. Qin Fei looked at the speechless faces of the three people and couldn't help but laugh. He raised his hand and patted Jingyu's head. Okay, calm down. I'm fine, aren't I? After a pause, he said calmly, next time when I fight, don't rush over. You're really in the way. Jingyu made an "oh" sound. In the end, he still submitted to Qin Fei's palm and obediently replied, okay. Soon, the police subdued all the men in black and stuffed them into the car. Then, they asked everyone in PG Club to go to the police station with them to make a statement. Fong Luo Fan, who had been hiding in the conference room and didn't dare to come out, was also taken away. He was faster at calling the police than Jingyu. After calling the police, he hesitated for a moment and wanted to come out to help. However, as soon as he opened the door, he saw Jingyu flipping over a person and then fighting side by side with Qin Fei back to back. He instantly calmed down and quietly closed the door, pretending that he didn't exist. At the same time, he couldn't help but sigh. PG Club was really full of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. After arriving at the police station, Jingyu handed the phone and blade to the police. After checking, they found that there was a half-recorded video on the phone, which clearly recorded the men in black charging at the 5 PG Club members. At the end of the video, Qin Fei knocked down a few people in succession, rushed in front of the camera, and reached out with one hand to grab the phone. This could almost be used as a stone hammer for Qin Fei to fight. However, because the men in black were the ones who attacked first, both the police and the organizers would judge Qin Fei's actions as legitimate self-defense. Esports players weren't allowed to cause trouble or fight, but there was no reason not to fight back after being hit for no reason. Fortunately, when the police arrived, neither the 5 PG Club members nor the dozen men in black had any serious injuries. There was enough evidence to prove that the men in black were the ones who attacked first. After making a statement, the police felt that there were no problems and let them go. They said that they would investigate the identity and purpose of the men in black as soon as possible and would contact them when they had results. The PG Club members were sent back to the club by the police. However, after logging back into the game and starting training, they were a bit absent-minded. After Luo Yiming died 11 times with his Maha, his teammates mocked him by saying, "AD, you should go AFK, we can win." In a fit of anger, he directly logged out of the game. Yi Hong, who had died 13 times with his peacock plume, said, "Yiming, you can't do this. You'll be reported if you go AFK." Qin Fei glanced at him. "You'll also be reported if you maliciously deliver kills." In the end, Fong Luofan realized that everyone was out of it and clapped his hands to interrupt their training. "Okay, stop training if you're not in the mood. How about we have afternoon tea together? It's my treat." Luo Yiming's mood instantly improved. "Okay. What do you want to drink?" Sure enough, Yi Hong, who had lost a round, stretched. "I want to eat pizza." "Luo Yiming, didn't you say afternoon tea?" Yi Hong took off his headphones and repeated, "I want to eat pizza." Fong Luofan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Okay. What about the others?" Qin Fei, whatever. Jingyu, anything is fine. Luo Yiming, then I want pizza too. Han Lang, pizza then. Fong Luo Fan, okay. And so, Fong Luo Fan ordered a pizza, some snacks, a few bowls of soup, and a few drinks. Everyone happily ate until they were full. It felt like they didn't have to eat dinner. Enjoying good food was a good way to relax. When the five returned to the training room, they were clearly in a much better state. But on the other side, Xiaoyun didn't feel good. A passerby took a picture of the men in black rushing into the PG club and posted it on Weibo. After seeing this Weibo post, Xiaoyun immediately called Fong Luofan to confirm his safety. Because she didn't want Fong Luofan to know about what happened online, she asked very tactfully. On the other hand, Fong Luofan didn't want Xiaoyun to know about the men in black, so his response was also very tactful. In any case, through this phone call, Xiaoyun successfully confirmed the safety of Fong Luofan and the PG club. Then, she began to focus on dealing with what happened online. First, she found the person who posted the Weibo post and sent him a private message asking him to delete it. However, the person refused to delete it. He even asked her a bunch of questions in return, wanting to know more inside information. Xiaoyun was furious, but she could only patiently chat with him. On the other hand, she also tried to contact the administrator of Weibo, trying to use a third party to force the post to be deleted. However, what she did not expect was that before the first wave had subsided, another wave arose. Just as she was gathering information and preparing to write a statement to reply, a rumor of Goldfish was injured in a fight and hospitalized suddenly appeared. It became the top 3 trending searches in a very short period of time. Xiaoyun. She clicked into this trending topic and saw the first post that appeared. There weren't many clicks or comments. Xiaoyun was so angry that she almost laughed. Could this trending topic be any more obvious? Clearly, someone wanted to kill PG. Xiaoyun naturally couldn't let them do as they wished. However, she didn't want to ask her family for help. Until the evening, this matter still hadn't been resolved. Finally, Xiaoyun couldn't sit still anymore. She rushed to PG Club alone, pulled Fong Luofan into her room, and told him everything that happened online. However, what could be solved by discussing with Fong Luofan? Fong Luofan's first reaction was, let Jingyu post a selfie or do a live stream. Wouldn't that solve the rumor? Xiaoyun was convinced. What about the fight with the men in black? There's still no result. Before the result is out, it won't do anyone any good to make a big deal out of it. Now, Jingyu was injured is helping to divert attention. Once Jingyu confirms the rumor, the next step will be to ask why PG got into a fight, right? Now, under Jingyu's Weibo, although some people were asking why he got into a fight, more people were worried about Jingyu's injury and whether or not he would be able to play in the finals. After all, Jingyu looked so weak. A lot of people didn't believe that he could fight. They all thought that he was one-sidedly beaten. Some people even guessed that he offended someone he shouldn't have offended because of what he said in the game. Then what do we do? Fong Luofan scratched his head. Xiaoyun sighed helplessly. She had to give up on him. She directly told him the solution she had in mind. For the next 2 days, turn off their phones and focus on training. Don't go online. As long as they don't lose the right to play, everything will be fine. Anyways, before the results of the police investigation come out, focus on the game. Once the results are out, I'll organize a long Weibo post to explain the cause and effect of this matter. Fong Luofan, okay, that's it. So, after the two finished talking, they immediately confiscated the phones of the 5 PG players and turned off everyone's phones. They reminded them not to go online and to focus on training. The 5 didn't think too much about it. After all, the finals were tomorrow. This was their first time playing in the finals, so they were both excited and nervous. A new lineup needed practice and high-intensity training, so they didn't have the energy to think about anything else. Xiao Yun let out a sigh of relief. She returned to her room and contacted the organizers of the 4th season of World League as quickly as possible. As long as the police helped prove that the men in black attacked first, and that PG was acting in self-defense, there shouldn't be any problems. After all, the organizers weren't stupid. However, she neglected one very important thing. She forgot to tell the 5 to tell their families that they were safe. The 5 didn't know what happened online, so they didn't know that their families would find out. Naturally, they didn't have the intention to tell their families that they were safe. So, when Qi Xian and Jiao Shi saw this online, they called and messaged their sons, but they couldn't reach them. Qi Xian immediately called her male secretary over. Go to PG Club. Now. Bring a few bodyguards over. 10 or so, no, a few dozen. Go. Male secretary, okay, I'll go right away. Jiao Shi directly took off her costume. After taking it off, she said to her agent without looking back, I have something to do today, I'll do it another day. As she spoke, she put on her private clothes. I'm really sorry. I'll have to trouble you to talk to the director. The agent was stunned. Before she could say anything, Jiao Shi left the dressing room. When she finally reacted and opened the window to call her back, she found that Jiao Shi had already driven away. She was like the wind. So, after a while, Jiao Shi and Qi Xian sent a few dozen bodyguards to PG Club. Jingyu had just finished a round of ranking, and before he could start the next round, he heard a series of hurried footsteps. He subconsciously turned his head. Before he could see who it was, he was pulled into a soft embrace. Xiao Yu, hearing this familiar voice, Jingyu's pupils shrank. He just let Jiao Shi hug him. After a while, he found his voice. Why are you here? Aren't you afraid of being photographed? Jiao Shi's heart was beating a little fast because she had run all the way here. She hugged Jingyu for a while before letting go. She completely ignored the shocked gazes of the other 4 members of PG Club. She looked at Jingyu and let out a sigh of relief. I heard that you were injured in a fight, so... Anyway, it's good that you're okay. I was injured in a fight. Jingyu looked confused. He clearly didn't know what happened online. At this moment, the 5 of them finally realized what might have happened online. Qin Fei suddenly had a bad feeling. Sure enough, not long after, there was the sound of a car braking, opening and closing the door. Then, a few dozen bodyguards in black rushed into PG Club. Jiao Shi suddenly turned around and shielded Jingyu behind her. One by one, the other members of PG Club also jumped up from their chairs. Yi Hong, fuck, again. Luo Yiming, fuck. Han Lang, call the police. Qin Fei, wait. Qin Fei looked carefully and indeed saw a familiar face behind the group of people, Qi Xian's male secretary. Qin Fei. Okay, we're on the same side, don't panic. On the same side. Luo Yiming almost bit his own tongue. The next second, a few bodyguards in black walked up to Qin Fei and let out sighs of relief. President Qin, are you okay? Qin Fei, don't call me that, he didn't have any position in Qi Xian's company. Because Qi Xian said, seeing him is like seeing me, everyone in the company regarded him as the heir of the company. When they saw him, they would respectfully call him President Qin. This actually made Qi Xian quite depressed. But she didn't plan on correcting them. In short, the title, President Qin, was just an honorific and didn't have any real meaning. However, it shocked Qin Fei's teammates. Luo Yiming, Brother Fei, you actually started a company behind our backs. Hanlang, fuck. People always say that I have a domineering aura, but you're the real domineering one. Yi Hong, I thought that Brother Fei's family was very rich, but I never thought that he was the president himself. Jingyu was deep in thought. Does the CEO prefer gentle and obedient girls? He could. Qin Fei, tisk, it's not what you think. But I'm too lazy to explain. Hanlang, you're indeed domineering. Qin Fei, if you fucking say anything else, I'll beat you up. Hanlang immediately shut up and made a zipping motion with his hand. So, Qin Fei ignored them and hooked his finger at the male secretary who squeezed in. Come here and explain. The male secretary came in front of him and helplessly told him the whole story. In short, President Qi was very worried about you, so she sent us here to save you. There are more than 10, no, dozens of people here. Qin Fei walked into the hall and glanced at the cars and people blocking the road. She's exaggerating. She said that she didn't care about him, but when something happened to him, she did this kind of thing. You guys can go back. The road is blocked. Qin Fei said helplessly, tell her that I'm fine. I turned off my phone because I didn't want to be disturbed before the game. I'll turn it on and reply to her message later. The male secretary nodded. Okay. Just as he was about to turn around and leave, Xiaoyun suddenly opened the door and walked out. When she saw so many people in black, she was so scared that she almost fell down. However, she quickly noticed the male secretary. After holding on to the door frame to steady herself, she widened her eyes in disbelief. Ha! It's you. The male secretary was stunned for a moment. When he turned around and saw Xiaoyun, he smiled and made a shuv gesture before leaving with dozens of bodyguards. He didn't take everyone away. Instead, he left 4 of them at PG Club, saying that it was Qi Xian's order to protect Qin Fei. Qin Fei was speechless. What kind of nonsense was this? However, what surprised him was that he asked, Sister Xiao, do you know him? Xiaoyun finally came back to her senses from the male secretary's last move. She replied blankly, he talked to me and asked me not to investigate him, Qin Fei. Xiaoyun said, ahem, it's like this. There were some bad comments about PG Online before, but they were all suppressed before I could do anything. I felt that someone was secretly helping us, so I wanted to investigate. Then this person came to me and asked me not to investigate. Qin Fei, so Qi Xian had said that she wasn't interested in what he was doing, but had been secretly helping him settle some things. Xiaoyun was confused. Who is this person? Your gay friend. Qin Fei, fuck off. My mom's secretary. Xiaoyun, huh? Isn't your mom? Qin Fei, my birth mother. Xiaoyun was stunned and didn't react for a long time. His birth mother was, Xiaoyun's eyes widened in disbelief. You are President Qin's illegitimate son. Yeah. Qin Fei replied indifferently. Under Xiaoyun's shocked gaze, he calmly sat down on the sofa. So, you don't have to worry about my relationship with those 2 people. One of them is not related to me, and the other is a scumbag who lied to my mom. Xiaoyun was dumbfounded. That was a bit too much information. She suddenly felt that she was an idiot for trying to report and explain to Qin Fei's parents, hoping that they would understand and support Qin Fei. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Xiaoyun felt that Qin Fei only told her now because he didn't treat her as one of his own. To be honest, Qin Fei didn't treat her as one of his own. After knowing that he was an illegitimate son, it was hard for him to trust anyone. He didn't trust anyone and only wanted to live a good life. So, why did he tell Xiaoyun? Qin Fei looked at Xiaoyun in silence, not knowing how to respond. Instead, Xiaoyun found an excuse herself. Why are you so stupid? Even if you told me, I wouldn't look down on you. This is your dad's fault, it has nothing to do with you. Qin Fei, =_= tell me, what are you thinking? Xiao Yun, I support you, you don't need parents like that. It's a good thing that your birth mother cares about you, so I'm relieved. Qin Fei. Oh. At this moment, Jiao Shi was wearing sunglasses and squatting next to Jingyu. She suddenly raised her hand and poked his waist. Your teammates are so interesting. Jingyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. They are quite interesting. After saying that, he couldn't help but worry about Jiao Shi. Are you okay coming here? What if someone takes a picture of you? Jiao Shi smiled. As long as you're okay, I don't care, he. Hearing this, Xiao Yun, who was still one-sidedly stirring up emotions, finally noticed Jiao Shi's presence. She couldn't believe her eyes. Jiao Shi. What day is it today? Why is a celebrity here? Jiao Shi, who was discovered, shrank back. She found no place to hide, so she stood up and took off her sunglasses. She looked at Xiao Yun and smiled. You're PG's manager, Xiao Yun, right? My Xiao Yu is in your care. It's nothing. Xiao Yun didn't want to admit that she was stunned by Jiao Shi's beauty. For a moment, she wasn't sure if she was still in the real world. You're so beautiful, she's so much prettier in real life than on TV. It's unbelievable. Jiao Shi smiled. Thank you. You're very beautiful too. Xiao Yun was stunned again. It took her a while to come back to her senses. Where are you from? Do you need me to send you back? Jiao Shi, no need. I drove here myself. I just want to catch up with Xiao Yu. I'll leave soon. She looked back at Jingyu and suddenly sighed. It's been a long time since we last met. Jingyu was stunned. Indeed, it's been a long time. Jiao Shi raised her hand and touched Jingyu's face. She smiled helplessly. Do your best. I'll watch the finals. You must win. I'll make the money. You just do what you want to do. Okay. Jingyu responded firmly and smiled. I'll do my best. I'll take care of you when I get the prize money, okay? Chapter 134. Jiao Shi chatted with Jingyu for a bit before driving off. Xiao Yun looked at the 4 bodyguards standing at the entrance of the club and didn't know what to say. She tried to invite the 4 of them. You don't have to keep standing, why don't you come in and sit? The 4 of them ignored her. Fine, since they treated her as if she didn't exist, she'd treat them as if they didn't exist. Xiao Yun returned to the training room and took a look. Other than Qin Fei, everyone else had returned to training. As for Qin Fei, where is he? Xiao Yun looked at the empty seat in the middle and asked curiously. Jingyu replied, Brother Fei went upstairs to make a call. Qin Fei took back his phone and turned it on as he went upstairs. While his phone was off, there were a lot of messages and missed calls. He glanced through them and found Qi Xian's number and dialed it. The other party picked up almost instantly. Yo, you didn't get killed. This annoying tone. Qin Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. No, I didn't get hurt. It won't affect tomorrow's game. Who cares if you can play or not? Qi Xian sneered and then said in a commanding tone, don't turn off your phone in the future. You have to reply to my messages immediately. Qin Fei helplessly replied, yes, am. Qi Xian, don't worry about what's going on online. I'll take care of it. Train well and play well. I'm hanging up. After saying, hanging up, she really hung up the phone. She didn't give Qin Fei a chance to respond. She really did things her own way as always. When Qin Fei returned to the training room, Xiaoyun had already left the club and gone home. Fang Luofan was sitting in the conference room watching the other team's matches. He was mainly watching the match between Kid and BALC. Their score directly determined who PG's opponent would be in the finals. Kid and BALC's match was the last match of the day. Therefore, when they were competing, the other team's final scores were all out. The commentators and the audience felt that ANE had become stronger. It wasn't an illusion. Their last match was a 2-0 victory over Jock. Their final score was -2. Although it was negative, their ranking had obviously improved compared to the previous season. Looking at the final points of the other teams, it was clear, total points of SKR. 1-4 Jock's total points, -7 Rules total points, -12 Looking from the back to the front, this season, ANE's overall ranking was 5th. Although the fighting style is a bit tricky. This was Han Leng's evaluation of ANE. But we've also used this method before, so we don't have the right to complain. Yi Hong didn't like hearing that. That's different, alright. If we target someone from the enemy team, it's most likely because we have a grudge against them. No matter which team we're fighting against, we'll always target one of them. The people we target are too pitiful. Han Ling glanced in the direction of Qin Fei and Jing Yu. But on our side, no matter who is targeted, it seems that the other side will end up worse off. Yi Hong couldn't help but laugh. Indeed. At this time, Luo Yiming had just finished a solo match. He took off his headphones. Do you guys think that the men in black today were sent by Kid? Qin Fei, no. Yi Hong, no. Han Lang, that's not very likely. Luo Yiming. Do you guys have to answer so straightforwardly? Yi Hong patiently explained, first of all, Kid's strength is obvious. Whether it's their lineup or their fighting style, it's very effective against us. Objectively speaking, their chances of winning the championship are much higher than ours, so there's no need for them to do anything unnecessary. Secondly, we're at risk of being banned for fighting. If they send people to cause trouble, they're also at risk of being banned. If the police investigate and confirm that they sent people, even if they win the championship, they'll still be disqualified. So, no matter how you look at it, doing this will do more harm than good for Kid. Luo Yiming was confused. He didn't really understand the process of the analysis, but he understood the conclusion. In any case, the boss behind the men in black couldn't be Kid. Then who could it be? Luo Yiming couldn't figure it out. Qin Fei, don't think so much now. Play well in the finals. Luo Yiming, that's true. Whether or not they were sent by Kid, we have to take revenge on them. Qin Fei didn't say anything else. Although he said that he didn't know who sent the men, he already had a rough guess in his heart. To be able to hire so many people to cause trouble without any scruples, and to buy a trending topic that even Qi Xian couldn't remove immediately, it was most likely someone with money and power. He thought of Jing Yu's grandfather, the chairman of the Qian Corporation. Thus, after Qi Xian hung up the phone, he sent this person's name to Qi Xian. Before the finals, Qi Xian would have full authority to deal with this matter. The match between Kid and Ball C lasted for a long time. The first round lasted 35 minutes. Ball C took the dragon twice, while Kid took the dragon once and the phoenix once. Come back, come back, come back, come back. The hearts of the commentators and the audience couldn't calm down. In the end, when both teams were at full level and had lost all their turrets, Kid traded 3 for 5 to wipe out Ball C. He destroyed Ball C's territory in one go and won the first round. In the second round, the two teams were in a stalemate again. However, this round ended faster than the previous one, lasting 29 minutes. Ball C took the magic dragon down to critical health twice, and both times it was stolen by Kid. In the end, the final result was, Kid defeated Ball C 2-0. After knowing this result, all of PG sighed. Luo Yiming, I thought Ball C would get at least 1 point. Yi Hong, how should I put it? If Ball C's ADC didn't make any mistakes, they should have won the first round. Han Lang, the second round can only be attributed to bad luck. Both junglers used discipline at the same time, but both times the dragon was awarded to Kid. Poor Ball C. Jingyu thought for a while, I think Ball C was too rushed in the second round. The timing for stealing the dragon wasn't right. Also, they should have sent 1 or 2 people to push the turrets to distract Kid. Qin Fei, regardless, the opponent for the finals has been decided. Since Kid defeated Ball C, then Kid would be PG's opponent in the finals. At the same time, the final points and rankings of the 8 strong teams were revealed. PG and Kid were tied for first place with 9 points. Third place, Ball C, 4 points. Fourth place, Mai, 3 points. Fifth place, Ain, -2 points. Sixth place, SKR. 1, -4 points. Seventh place, Jock, -7 points. Eighth place, Rule, -12 points. Reality proved that as the versions changed, the rankings of the 8 teams were constantly changing as well. Among them, the biggest change was undoubtedly PG. Last season, they were at the bottom of the top 8. They were also suppressed by the other 7 teams and weren't recognized by the top 8 teams. However, this season, even if they didn't win the championship, they were still the highly anticipated runner-up. After this season's points competition, no one doubted PG's ability to be in the top 8 anymore. In fact, a large portion of people were looking forward to PG winning the championship. The next afternoon, when they stepped into the finals, Fong Luofan took a deep breath and said calmly, "Take back the championship." PG's 5 players roared in response. Their morale was high. The finals was a best of 7, which gave the 2 teams plenty of time to fight for the championship trophy. However, it was clear that this long competition wasn't good for PG. Therefore, their goal was to finish the competition as soon as possible. We have to win 4 games. That's a lot of pressure. Yi Hong was smiling, but his forehead was already sweating. Qin Fei reminded everyone, when we enter the arena later, keep your mouths shut. Don't mention anything about the men in black. His teammates all agreed. This was the 8th time they stepped into the arena, but the feeling was completely different from the previous 7 times. Jingyu plugged in his mouse and keyboard. After logging into his game account, he felt that his heart was beating abnormally fast, as if it was going to jump out of his chest. He took a deep breath and then concentrated on using his fingers to feel the touch of the mouse and keyboard. He was definitely nervous, but he believed that no matter how nervous he was, it wouldn't affect his performance in the competition. It was like when he took the college entrance exam. Before the exam, he was so nervous that he couldn't even hold a pen. However, when it came to answering the questions, all emotions and thoughts unrelated to the questions would be automatically blocked by his brain. His attention would be highly focused on the questions, and he would only think about how to answer the questions in front of him. The members of the 2 teams entered the preparation room one after another and clicked to prepare. After everyone was ready, the system randomly selected a person from the 2 teams to throw the dice. PG threw a 1, and Kid threw a 6. Kid went first on the blue side. Luo Yiming. Goddess of Luck doesn't love me anymore. Han Lang, you're pretty good to be able to throw a 1. In short, in the ban and pick round, Kid had the advantage of being the first to ban the devil. According to the order of rotation, today's commentators were originally supposed to be Fong Luofan and Yo-Yo. However, because Fong Luofan was also PG's coach, after the organizers obtained the agreement of the two teams, the commentators for the finals were changed to Aban and Tangwa. This guaranteed the viewing quality of the finals to the greatest extent. At this moment, Fong Luo Fan was sitting in the audience, nervously looking at the big screen above the entire arena. He unconsciously clenched his fists. A backup plan. It's fine. Even if you get the first move, Kid will still be the backup plan after you win. If you can't beat Kid with a backup plan, then you don't even need to think about winning 4 out of 7 games. Kid's first pick was very decisive. It was a glimpse. However, after they chose the glimpse, they didn't click confirm for a long time. Clearly, they wanted to drag out the time to discuss tactics. At the same time, PG's side was also discussing Jingyu. In the first round, no matter what they ban, we'll take the first 2 shooters. It was time to test the results of their training. If they didn't try it in the first round, they wouldn't dare to try it later. Luo Yiming, are we going to ban shooters? Yi Hong, of course we are. If we're playing against Kid, what else can we ban other than shooters? Han Lang, right now, there are 6 shooters commonly used. We'll ban 3, leave 1 for them, and take the other 2. That's just right. Qin Fei, the plan works. Thus, the final picks for the 2 sides were PG, Kamal, Sagittarius, Mahakid, Glimpse, Nine-Tailed Fox, Moonshade Spider. Then Kid unhesitatingly took the first pick for Dark Cupid. Sure enough, it's Dark Cupid. Aban said in a tone as if he had seen through everything. With 1 on the other side, even Kid wouldn't dare to give Dark Cupid to him. Tangwa, haha, after all, Dark Cupid is very flexible. It's too compatible with one's playstyle. It's PG's turn to pick. Who will they pick first? Aban looked at PG's picks. Qin Fei and Jing Yu's first picks have been released. I'm guessing they'll pick Lilith and Heart of Ice first. As soon as he said that, PG's first 2 picks were locked, Wind of Condensation and Wanmi Liuhua. Tangguo couldn't believe her eyes. Ha! 2 shooters for the first pick. Aban was also very surprised. This doesn't seem like PG's style. Have they changed their playstyle? This pick was obviously out of Kid's expectations, causing them to be very slow in the second round of picks. They only picked the second and third monsters when the countdown was about to end. Sword Burial and Heijiao. Strong jungler and strong mid laner. This move is relatively easy to understand. Tangguo explained. I don't think Kid can bring out 3 shooters in this round. It'll be difficult for him to even bring out 2 shooters. Is PG trying to compete with Kid in the late game with this lineup? Aban guessed. Maybe they're like Ain. Since they can't win with their previous lineup, why don't they try a new one? I think it's very possible. Tangguo said seriously, after all, the finals are best of 7. Even if they lose 3 games in a row, they can still turn the tables. PG probably wants to use the first game as an experiment, right? Tangguo was half right. PG did want to use the first game as an experiment, but this lineup was not something they came up with on the spot. They had planned it for a long time. They had been training with this lineup until the start of the finals. This was just an experiment. Locke, Soul and Sandy. Jingyu said these words with a hint of schadenfreude. Indeed, when PG chose the 2 monsters, especially Sandy, the audience was in an uproar. The commentator's eyes widened in disbelief. What was Sandy? He was a shooter in the newbie gift pack. That wasn't the point. The point was that PG had 3 shooters. 3 shooters lineup. Aban finally found his voice. Before the game started, I had a feeling that we would see 3 shooters, but I didn't expect it to be PG. Tangguo, Did both sides really not log into the wrong account? Of course not. There was no way they could log into the wrong account. Yi Hong imagined the expressions of the commentator and the audience. He couldn't help but laugh. Are you surprised? Are you surprised? Luo Yiming, isn't it just a 3-shooters lineup? Let's show them one too. After confirming that PG really had 3 shooters, a ban couldn't help but laugh. I remember that PG lost to Kid's 3 shooters in the first game of the elimination round. Now, PG is using a 3-shooters lineup against Kid in the first game of the finals. Is this giving him a taste of his own medicine? Tanggua, hahaha, if that's the reason why PG got 3 shooters, he's really tough. While they were talking, Kid chose the last 2 spots, Azrael and Kwanggu. A ban couldn't help but add, since our shooters can't beat yours, we'll use our meat to carry them. Tanggua, no problem. Then, it was finally PG's last spot. Instant lock, Heart of Ice. When the most good-looking demon in Demon Lord appeared on the big screen, countless viewers cheered, Jingyu, let's go. The #1 Heart of Ice in the country, let's go. Jingyu couldn't be in a better mood after getting his life item in the first round. All the nervousness before the competition disappeared when he got his hands on this monster with the highest proficiency. As long as I have Heart of Ice, I won't lose, he said. Then, Yi Hong mocked him on the spot. You make it sound like you didn't lose when you had Heart of Ice. Luo Yiming didn't hold back. Then your win rate should be 100%, but I remember it's not even 80%. Jingyu, == less than 80% was the win rate of his streamer account in a solo match. It was already very impressive. After all, solo matches depended too much on luck. If you were matched with an AFK teammate or a crazy actor, you could only blame yourself for being unlucky. After locking onto Heart of Ice, Jingyu began to adjust his sprite commandeering and equipment. In the game Devil Lord, every demon could bring 2 additional skills with them when they entered the battlefield. These 2 additional skills were called sprite commandeering. The 2 most commonly used sprite commandeering were undoubtedly Flash and Healing. There were also Shield, Teleport, Corrosion, and so on. Most people would bring Flash and Healing to increase their survivability. Compared to Healing, Qin Fei preferred to bring Corrosion. He would rather give up the chance to escape death to kill the other party. In this round, he had Wan Miliohua. He was a marksman, but he still stubbornly brought Corrosion. Han Lang's Wind of Condensation brought Teleport. The 3 marksmen had a clear division of labor. Jingyu, the main C is still Yiming. We must survive until the end. Brother Han, roam around to provide support. I'll be in the jungle. Brother Fei will help. Qin Fei, okay. Luo Yiming, I'll deal the highest damage. Han Lang, it feels so good to get a life in the finals. Yi Hong, let's go all out. Jingyu, go for it. Following Jingyu's 2 words, the countdown reached 0, the interface jumped, and the demons from both sides entered the battlefield. In this round, the final lineups of the 2 sides were PG, Wanmi Liuhua, Soul, Sandy, Wind of Condensation, Heart of Ice Kid, Azrael, Heijiao, Dark Cupid, Kwanggu, Sword Burial. Before the start of the game, everyone thought that PG would definitely ban the marksman in order to prevent Kid from getting 3 marksmen. They had indeed banned him. All 3 bans were given to archers. However, no one expected that after they banned 3 marksmen, they would choose 3 more marksmen. They were supposed to ban marksmen as a last resort, but in order to prevent Kid from getting 3 marksmen, they got 3 marksmen themselves. In a game like Devil Lord, tanks played in the early game, mages played in the middle, and marksmen played in the late game. PG, a team that played in the early game, actually got 3 marksmen. It was both exciting and unsettling. Okay, now we can see that the demons from both sides have entered the battlefield. When he saw Jing Yu's Heart of Frost go to the jungle, he couldn't help but be surprised. In this round, PG's jungler chose to help in the opening. I wonder if there's some kind of strategy. On the big screen, Heart of Ice and Wanmi Liuhua went to the top lane together after helping Yi Hong's soul get mana. Then, Heart of Ice crouched in the grass, and Wanmi Liuhua started to line up with Azrael. In the early game, marksmen had no advantage against tanks, except for their long hands. Indeed, the live stream cut to the top lane. Everyone saw that Wanmi Liuhua's HP was getting lower and lower as Azrael kept retreating into the tower. This was probably the first time that Qin Fei lost to someone in a line of battle. However, Azrael's HP was only a little higher than Wanmi Liuhua's. Kid saw that Wanmi Liuhua's HP was low and felt that he could definitely kill him, so he used Flash and chased after him. However, the moment he used Flash, he was connected to by a cold light. In the next second, Heart of Ice flew over along the light and killed him with a normal attack. First kill. System, Heart of Ice, first kill. System, enemy Azrael has been killed. Following these two system messages, Jing Yu couldn't help but laugh. Good acting. Hearing the laughter in his voice, Qin Fei couldn't help but smile. You ganked well too. Yi Hong, who was sitting beside the two, had goosebumps all over his body. This mutual flattery, beautiful. Aban was amazed. Then, he looked at the replay and explained. Qin Fei pretended to be suppressed and lured Kid's Azrael into Jing Yu's hunting range. Jing Yu seized the opportunity to kill Azrael. The coordination between the PG and top laners was perfect. Now, Wanmi Liuhua is retracting the minions in the top lane and preparing to return. Not returning to the city. Qin Fei's Wanmi Liuhua didn't have a healthy amount of health. However, he didn't return to the city to heal himself. Instead, he followed Jing Yu's Heart of Ice to Kid's top lane. At this time, Hanling's Wind of Condensation had cleared all the minions in the bottom lane. He didn't even look back as he headed to the top lane. Wanmi Liuhua and Heart of Ice are fighting in the bottom lane. Sandy has placed an order. Tanguo was shocked as she commented. She really admired PG's courage. Kid's most troublesome opponent is their bottom laner, LLY. PG actually allowed one to fight against LLY alone. Maybe it's to ensure the development of the archer. Aban guessed. With PG's arrangement, as long as one can defend the bottom lane, both 1 Sandy and 3H's Wind of Condensation will be able to develop. After a pause, he couldn't help but sigh. This strategy is quite risky. However, it's very consistent with PG's style. Tanguo, wait. Kid Sword Burial has realized it. He has rushed to the top lane. Jing Yu's Green Goblin is only halfway there. Seeing this, Aban's heart was in his throat. Can PG steal Kid's Green Goblin? Or will Sword Burial kill him instead? Especially since Wanmi Liuhua's health is very low. Just as he said this, Green Goblin's health was almost depleted. Jing Yu had Heart of Ice use punishment. Almost at the same time, Kid Sword Burial moved to Green Goblin's side and used punishment. The result? You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.